it's normal now. It works.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's finally here. Tonight, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton face off in their first presidential debate. Fox's John Roberts has been covering the Republicans' campaign.
What they don't want to do is they don't want to fill Donald Trump's head with too many facts and figures that he might not be able to pull out of his, at the drop of a hat, given any particular question or any kind of direction that the debate goes in. What they would rather do is just have him focus on some broad ideas, get a few sound bites in here or there because they believe those are the only things that are going to be remembered, and a couple of zingers in against Hillary Clinton.
Now, as for the Democrat, Fox's Mike Emanuel says
Clinton's top aides are working the moderator and the media to say there should be no double standard. We've heard the Clinton campaign pushing for real-time fact-checking of Donald Trump. They've warned about the possibility of sexism tonight, comments about Hillary Clinton's wardrobe and her voice and that sort of thing.
The debate will be 90 minutes starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Schools canceled through Wednesday. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, thousands of people have been told to evacuate as flooding threatens Iowa's second largest city. The Cedar River already crested Saturday night in Waterloo and Cedar Falls to levels just below in 2008's devastating floods. A golf legend has died. Arnold Palmer was 87, suffered complications of heart problems in Pittsburgh.
Arnold Palmer was one of the greatest players ever to grace the fairways. He transcended the game to become one of professional sports' first stars. In 1958, he won the first of 4 green jackets at the Masters.
Fox's William Lajeunesse Palmer won 7 major golf championships. Jose Fernandez was a star young pitcher for the Miami Marlins, killed in a boating accident along with 2 of his friends.
Think about Jose, it's going to be thinking of that little kid. I see such a little boy in him.
Then Marlins manager Don Mattingly nearly broke down, choking back tears, reflecting on Fernandez, and Miami's game versus the Atlanta Braves was postponed. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
We have a rain shower this morning, 61 degrees. It's 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting in Champaign near the campus of the University of Illinois. Police say George Korchev and 3 others were found shot early yesterday in the 300 block of East Green Street after a fight broke out at a nearby apartment. A man has died after being shot near Millennium Park, one of Chicago's most popular tourist destinations. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says 54-year-old Peter Faber died from his injuries yesterday. Chicago police say they continue to question a man arrested after the shooting on Saturday night. Authorities say nothing suspicious was found following a bomb threat at 2 schools in Long Grove. Authorities say someone called police Saturday saying he wanted to blow up Country Meadows Elementary and Woodlawn Middle School. Lake County Sheriff's deputies didn't find anything after searches of both buildings. A Chicago man paroled last year for a 2013 armed robbery is charged with killing 2 acquaintances earlier this year. Marquise Holloway now faces 2 counts of first-degree murder in the February 14 shooting deaths of Jeremy Hunter and Stephen Tate. Chicago police are searching for a suspect after a 13-year-old girl was sexually assaulted on the city's south side. Police say the child was walking Saturday when a person grabbed her and assaulted her in an abandoned building near the corner of 78th and Calumet. 5 teens are fully recovered after overdosing on anxiety medication at a weekend house party in Tower Lakes. Authorities say the incident happened Saturday while the teens were drinking and using Xanax. All 5 victims were hospitalized. Right now, no charges are expected to be filed. White Sox over Cleveland 3-0. Carlos Rodon struck out a career-high 11 over 8 dominant innings of work. And what could be better than denying Cleveland any chance of winning the AL Central title? Cubs over St. Louis 3-1. Nice performance by John Lester and a David Ross home run. Not so nice for the Bears, beaten by Dallas Sunday night 31-17. The news, a service of CNN's live coverage of the presidential debate, the most anticipated event of the 2016 race. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump go head-to-head for the first time on the same stage. Don't miss the first presidential debate. Special live coverage begins today at 3 on CNN. 5:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Finally, Trump and Clinton square off face to face
Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office.
in the first presidential debate of 2016.
Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
Can Trump play nice?
Sit down, please.
And will Clinton have enough stamina to get through the night?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
There's no telling what will happen. Trump, Clinton, round one. And you can listen to it right here. Tonight, coverage begins at 8, right after the Joe Wall Show on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
5:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here is Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks. Outside of Chicago, it's a crash reported 57th and Holstead. Possible car into a building. Midway Plaisance in Hyde Park remains blocked off after the Hyde Park Jazz Festival. It's between Dorchester and Woodlawn. On the Stevenson Expressway at Lakeshore Drive, there's a lot of road work. Most of that overnight work, those wrapping up. Lakeshore Drive is again open at the Stevenson, and at the moment, the other expressways and tollways are looking good. Traffic is a service of Burger King's breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light, flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage, or delicious, thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant for $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Holly Holdren.
We'll have clouds giving way to sunshine today. Windy and cooler, high 67. Clear and cool this evening, low 50. Then tomorrow will be mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 65. Look for a passing shower tomorrow night, low 50. I'm Holly Holdren on AM 560, The Answer.
61 at O'Hare, 63 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and today's Super Bowl day.
Yes. So what are you wearing? Home or away team? Who are you supporting there?
I don't know if you've had this experience, but just talking to people about the debate, more people tell me either their experience or their friends who aren't even interested in politics, who have never watched these debates, who don't pay much attention, but they're watching this one. Tonight is an event, and that's why I think you're going to see exponentially more Americans watch this debate than normally is the case, even though these are normally highly watched
I know.
events.
They're expecting 100 million plus people, more than any Super Bowl. And there's somebody talking. Is that in my head? Is that my headphone? Oh, we're all good. But no, you're right. I was talking to so many people over the weekend. people that aren't even political, who aren't even registered to vote.
Chief Karpatny.
And I told them, listen, are you going to watch the debate? And they're like, oh, yeah. My whole family, I'm getting my kids around the TV. We're all going to watch it. So
I don't know if it's going to be, kind of.
I hope it delivers.
If that's what's the rating these days? Is it PG-13 or is
that's right.
am I an old fuddy-duddy by referencing that?
Yeah,
Is that an antiquated is that an antiquated rating?
No, that's still
PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13.
Well,
but I hope they don't.
Hopefully it is PG-13 and not NC-17 because it could go either way.
Well, I don't want to explain the hand size and what that correlates into and all that.
I doubt,
but I don't think Hillary's going to go there.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to get into that. But it is going to be an event, and we'll take your calls and texts all morning, 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. We started this a little bit on Friday, the questions that you would ask if you were Lester Holt. Let's give our friend Lester Holt a little kind of cram session here, some things that he may not have thought of. And if you don't want a specific question, how about a specific issue you want to make sure that either one of the candidates brings up? And since we made the sports analogy to the Super Bowl, and just a quick aside, tough weekend in sports. And I'm not just talking about the Bears being an awful football team. And I'm not just talking about Notre Dame being an awful football team and well-deserved. That loss to Duke. Loved it. The firing of the defensive coordinator. Love it. Maybe Brian Kelly can do a better job recruiting at correctional facilities in the future. And they can beat Duke at home someday in the near term.
That was a good game.
But no, I'm talking about, of course, the passing of legend, one of those players that transcends their sport, Arnold Palmer, right? Passed away yesterday at the age of 87. And kind of a little bit of a legend passing, one of the best passing, and perhaps someone who would have been one of the best passing at the age of 24, and that's Jose Fernandez, the pitcher for the Florida Marlins.
Yeah, did you see the boat he was in? It capsized on the rocks. I mean, it was horrific. They must have been going so fast and not even have seen it, but he died along with 3 other people.
And it called to mind, you remember the Cleveland Indians boating accident? Tim Olin and Steve Cruz? I think those were the names. But
I remember that in Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah, this is probably 2 decades plus ago.
I remember that.
But that was why it was a tough weekend in sport.
With him, he tried to come to this country 3 times and didn't succeed. On the 4th time, he finally made it, but then he had to save his mother who was drowning. So Cuban Americans just idolized him, looked up to him, and everybody, if you read all the tweets from his teammates, I mean, they really loved him. And he changed the attitude in the clubhouse, and that's why a lot of them went to work. And he said, you got to relax on the mound and just enjoy this day because we're so lucky to have this position as pitchers.
Well, he was more than just a major leaguer and another Cuban defection to the major leagues. But he was the Rookie of the Year in the NL 3 years ago, and this I think he was like 16-8 with an ERA under 3 this year. I mean, this was a guy who was one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was on track for one of those,
Cy Young Awards.
No, not
later on. Or?
Well, I mean, down the road, not this year, but yeah, down the road, and also one of those unearthly $200 million Clayton Kershaw type contracts. He was not far away from that. So it's just, it's sad. Arnold Palmer lived an incredible life, and it's a life to remember and celebrate. And it's the same thing with Jose Fernandez, but it was just cut so short. That's the sadness about that, of course.
Well, I hate to say this, but deaths always come in 3. What legendary sports figure
I'll
is
tell
next?
you what, there's
Vin Scully did his last game at in Dodgers. He's not dead, though, but he did his last game.
Nobody likes playing Deadpool before the body's even cold.
I'm sorry. What's wrong with me?
I mean, honestly.
I don't know what happened.
We'll take your calls on the debate. Also, what prominent figure may next
prominent sports figure. It has to be a sports figure.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Amy Jacobson's Deadpool. Feel free to participate.
Vin Scully.
Oh, it's nice. Put Vin Scully in the grave.
But the last game that he called at Dodger Stadium went into extra innings. I mean, it was perfect. That was yesterday. So maybe, if he's out of a job, he might slip away. He might transition.
The macabre. Honestly, what is wrong with you? Vin Scully's a national treasure, and you want to put him 6 feet under? Would you? That was God telling Vin Scully to not retire. So maybe after that, and after hearing your prediction of his imminent demise, he'll continue to call Dodgers games.
Have you ever met, back to Arnold Palmer? Did you ever meet him?
I never met him.
Oh, I did, and he was. as gregarious and friendly as he appears on TV, he's that way in person.
But he's the reason I only buy Pennzoil.
Oh, really? I was going to bring you in an Arnold Palmer, the lemonade and iced tea mix, but I got up too late. So
that's when you know you've made it, when you have a drink named after you.
But he died. He was waiting for they said cardiac surgery at the Pittsburgh hospital. And it's a very well-renowned cardiology department there, and they're the best surgeons in the world. But he died waiting for that surgery, which is too bad.
87. You know, it was a great life, and again, transcendental figure in sport. All right. Well, over the weekend there was also a lot of news that developed. Also news, unfortunately, largely of the macabre, and I'm not just talking about the presidential debate. I'm talking about the release of the dash cam and body cam video related to the Charlotte police shooting of Keith Scott. Also, his wife's, Mr. Scott's wife's cell phone video was obtained by NBC News and put out into the public space as well. And we'll review all that and take your calls after this.
Hear the first presidential debate tonight at 8.
She's got a temperament of a loser.
Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning starting at 5.
He is trying to scam America.
On AM 560. The Answer.
Weather forecast for today feels like fall. You'll understand when you walk outside. It's a brisk breeze, crisp day. We're going to have some high only of 67 degrees. A lot different than yesterday. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy, a high of 65. Any overnight road work still lingering around? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. There is still some work on the outbound Rye and extending to the outbound Bishop Ford. Left lane closure from around 95th to King Drive. The major work going on Lakeshore Drive at the Stevenson, that has wrapped up, so you can get through on Lakeshore Drive once again past I-55. Got a stall on the inbound Kennedy at Armitage, blocking the right lane. Elsewhere, the expressways and tollways look great. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. Bonnie called because her monthly mortgage and student loan payments were financially suffocating her. While at her daughter's soccer practice, David informed Bonnie she could pay off all of her student loans, reduce her monthly payments over $1,000 a month, and pay for all her closing costs. Really? So David asked Bonnie why she didn't call him sooner, and Bonnie told David his ad sounded too good to be true. Well, needless to say, Bonnie is now a huge believer and very proud to be one of David's success stories. So if you have credit card debt or student loans and would like to see if David could lower your monthly payment like he lowered Bonnie's monthly payment, pick up the phone and call David now. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but guess what? He can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? You're in luck. Right now, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you'll still get the second one for free, baby. But you'll also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only 1. It's the best offer ever. Nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it's the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, so it's healthy, and you'll sleep better. Visit MyPillow.com. Click the radio listener special tab and use the promo code Joe. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of 1. Or you can call 1-800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Joe. That's MyPillow.com or 1-800-489-0201.
Global unrest, political uncertainty, economic policy changes. If only you had a crystal ball to predict how the stock market's going to perform. What would that look like? You'd have all your finances in top shape and be prepared for anything the market throws at you. Sound impossible? Not with Online Trading Academy. They'll help you get all the inside info to make those informed decisions so you can become your own expert. It's easy to get started. Just call 888-984-TRADE to receive 2 free passes to a half-day workshop at Online Trading Academy's Lombard Training Center. You'll learn how to start calling the shots so you can make money when the markets go up, down, or sideways. Again, this is a free seminar with limited seating, so call now, 888-984-TRADE, or register online at otaclass.com. Mention AM560 and get a free home video study course valued at $247 just for attending. Learn from the pros and reserve your seat today.
Congratulations on that 401k. It's officially going nowhere, and you're probably going to have to pay to get your money out. And congratulations thinking Social Security will float you through retirement. Wake up, answer listeners. Real wealth comes from real estate. I'm Sean Thompson. My company is Liberty Real Estate Services, and it's time to invest in a personal real estate portfolio that will secure your future. With Liberty Real Estate, we'll help you buy those properties, and most importantly, we'll help you manage those properties once they've been acquired. Financial independence can only be achieved when you've broken down the market like I have. Nobody wants to rent your 401k, but many want to rent your house. Real wealth comes from real estate with Liberty Real Estate Services. Call me right now at 630-323-4376. That number again is 630-323-4376, or visit the website at libertyrealestateservices.com for information you'll need to get real financial freedom and control your destiny. 630-323-4376 or libertyrealestateservices.com. It's time.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, before we get to Charlotte, let's somebody wants to remember Arnold Palmer, so let's quickly take Arlene from the Northwest Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer, Arlene.
Hi, good morning. I want to just put my 2 cents in regarding Arnold Palmer. My husband and I were visiting our daughter in Maui, and we were at the airport, and my luggage came down, and this gentleman next to me, I didn't know who he was. He reached out, and he grabbed my luggage, and he put it down right next to me and smiled. I just said, gee, there's still gentlemen in this world. I'm so happy. Thank you, sir. My husband said, did you know that was Arnold Palmer? I said, well, he is a gentleman, a kind man, very courteous, and a wonderful, well-dressed man.
That's right. Thanks for the story, Arlene. Gary Player wouldn't have done that.
No.
Jack Nicklaus wouldn't have.
No, Jack Nicklaus would have done that. I always loved the rivalry between him and Jack Nicklaus.
What is Arnold Palmer doing flying commercial?
He flies commercial. He was the first golfer to make $1 million, but back then that would have been considered like $10 million. But he won 4 Masters, in the U.S. Open in 1960 and 61.
Oh, boy.
Well, he was.
Ken Venturi is guest hosting with me this morning.
You know what he did for me? He opened the door for me. And no, Dan, I did not make out with him, okay? Just in case you were wondering.
Thank God.
Please.
Oh, my goodness.
But no, he was a true gentleman. And I was, I don't know. I was really, really heartbroken when I heard that he died.
Well,
do you think Jack Nicklaus is next?
Jack Nicklaus just put out a missive over the weekend, at least it was signed by Jack Nicklaus, to raise money for Republican congressional candidates. So good for Jack Nicklaus.
Okay. So he's alive and well then.
I hope he lives forever if he's going to be going about that business.
No one's touching that guy.
Yeah, you just leave the Golden Bear alone.
Jacobson.
Stop putting the hex on him, for goodness sakes.
But Tiger Woods released a nice tweet about his good friend, saying that he's going to miss him. What's wrong?
Okay, yeah.
You don't want to go
through all the
tweets?
tweets of the entire PGA Tour?
Here.
Yeah.
I got 1,200 tweets there all morning long.
Yeah.
Remembering Arnie Palmer.
Yes, through the 140 characters or less from your favorite PGA Tour professional. All right, we got to move on and get to Charlotte here. The dash cam and body cam video was released by the Charlotte Police Department over the weekend. Kerr Putney held a press conference. He's the chief the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. And he essentially said that though you cannot definitively see the gun in the video, that there is no question that there is a gun there. He stood by his assertion that Mr. Scott was armed with a gun and repeatedly failed to comply with verbal commands. And the totality of the evidence, including from witnesses, including from police officers, substantiates what Chief Putney has said from the beginning. So said Chief Putney after the release of the video. Now, I got to say, the release of the body cam and dash cam video from the Charlotte police officers doesn't do much for you.
It does nothing. It raises more questions than answers. I mean, it was first of all, I felt like I was watching the Blair Witch Project, so I had to slow it down to see anything at all. And what I saw was a man with his hands on his side walking backwards. I didn't see a weapon. And if you watch the wife's video first and then see that, the first wife's video, I did not see the gun at all in that shot.
Well, let's hear from Putney.
Okay.
Let's hear the snippets that we can play that are relevant in terms of just audio and not visual and then let's get to the wife's as well, because that does have a lot more of kind of a 360 perspective, although you still don't see what happened because she went to charge her phone and then came back, and by the time she came back and got close enough, he was on the ground. So I'm just
Keith.
So here's Chief Putney laying out the case upon the release of the video.
What impacted this decision is the information I've been getting from this community all along. As soon as you appropriately can, release the video. And that's what I was going to do anyway. Our policy is when we can release information that won't be detrimental to the investigation itself, we release. And what I can tell you, too, is I just want to remind people is we're 4 days after the incident. We're talking about 2 independent investigations, and they take time. I'm gonna insist we do it right, not fast.
So did this have anything to do with Keith Scott's wife's video coming out yesterday, that cell phone video?
Ma'am, listen. Our practice and our protocol is to release as soon as we can to inform. What is out there, I can't control, nor am I concerned about. I'm standing behind the facts, and today, because it won't impact the second investigation that is being conducted, nor ours, I'm releasing it because it's appropriate to do so. There are no other factors that influence that. There's a lot of information out there, but the only pressure I had is to make sure our people get it when I can give it to them in a way that I can maintain the integrity of what I'm charged with doing.
Yeah.
He's singing quite a different song than he did the other day with, it's nobody's business. There's an investigation going on. We're not going to release it.
Well, I don't think he used the phrase nobody's business, but he said investigation, not going to release it. I mean, the idea that he wasn't impacted by anything other than the investigative protocols in terms of the release, I don't know about that.
Protesters want them to release all the tapes. They say that now they're just getting snippets of it. They want all of the body cam tapes released. And now, Dan, their demands yesterday, because they were protesting outside the Panthers game.
Oh, no, I've got the list.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, not like abbreviated one is just they want the police chief to resign. They want the governor to resign.
Yeah.
And they want the mayor to resign.
Everybody should resign.
Yeah, everyone should resign.
Also,
there's only about a handful of protesters there, so that was good.
Here's some of the other on the list of demands. Defund the police department.
There you go. That's a good option.
And redirect those resources to the needs of our communities.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Okay.
Independent investigation. Release all those arrested in connection with the uprising. Oh, it's an uprising. Release all the names of the officers involved in killing Keith Scott. Reparations to the family of Keith Scott and all victims of police violence, as well as the families of those who have been killed. Community control of the police. I thought they were defunded. And an end to repression and targeting of all protesters. Leave us alone.
Yeah, leave us alone while we loot and just take whatever we want. Okay?
So there's the quality of what you're getting from the protesters. But just in Putney, the substance of the fact pattern here, Putney has not moved off of at all.
But again, there's another investigation ongoing. And yes, based on the totality of what we see, he absolutely was in possession of a handgun.
Yeah, and the the ABC in Charlotte, they have an inside source there who said that his DNA was found on the gun, his fingerprint was on the gun, and some blood was on the gun. And that was indeed his gun and not something that was planted. But yet, if you look at these two competing videos with the wife and what the body cam released, I did not see a gun in the wife's.
But if you look at those videos, your view is blocked.
Well, why would the gun be so far away from his body?
Oh, you don't know where the gun is. Number one.
And why didn't they leave him in the vehicle and wait him out? I mean, what was the big rush to get him out and kill him?
Well, let's just a little bit of background on Keith Lamont Scott.
Yeah, father of 4, right? Or 7, excuse me.
A convicted felon who'd gone to prison for 7 years.
Okay.
Making it illegal for him to possess a firearm. I've got his rap sheet right here. Some good reporting by the Federalist, D.C. McAllister, thefederalist.com.
Right. What else did he do?
Convicted in April 2004 of misdemeanor assault with a deadly weapon. Other charges stemming from that date that were dismissed. Felony assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. 92, he was charged with several different crimes in Charleston County, South Carolina on different dates, including carrying a concealed weapon, that was not a gun, simple assault, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, pleaded guilty to all charges. He was also charged with aggravated assault in 92 and assault with the intent to kill in 95. Both charges were reduced. The disposition of those cases unclear. I don't know what they knew. I don't know if they, who knows if they ran the plates and they knew who they were dealing with or not. But certainly that could inform what police officers were thinking. If they knew, let's assume they didn't. It certainly says something about Mr. Scott. I understand this is prejudicial in terms of a court of law, prior bad acts, but in terms of understanding what may have been going on here, who do you believe? The police officers that said he had a gun, and if there's physical evidence like you're just describing, CBS News reporting, boy, that's pretty powerful. Or do you believe his wife, who initially said, he was
reading a book?
Yeah, reading.
Where's the book?
English poetry.
Okay, that's a little flamboyant.
But then has walked off of that, and now it's just he didn't have a gun. We'll pick this up after the news.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
When you present your business card, what do you want it to say about you? If that card has the letters CMA after your name, it says you know the 11 most crucial areas of management accounting. It says you've mastered an exam that only has a 50% pass rate. It says you've distinguished yourself from your peers, all of which makes your business card a keeper. The CMA certification, you've got to earn it. Visit cmacertification.org for details.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up event right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank? 14 years. That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rowe's the man.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
AM 560. The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All my rowdy and deplorable friends will be here on Monday night.
Yes, countdown to the showdown. Pregame begins. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have 61 degrees. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump gearing up for an important first presidential debate tonight. You hear that right here on AM 560 beginning at 8. A top advisor to Hillary Clinton, John Podesta.
Donald Trump is inveterately says things that aren't true. He comes in and PolitiFact rated him Liar of the Year last year.
Mike Pence, the vice presidential candidate, believes tonight's presidential debate will show a stark contrast between Clinton and Trump.
Hillary Clinton essentially wants to continue the policies of this administration that have weakened America's place in the world, stifled America's economy, walked away from our most cherished constitutional principles.
The primetime debate moderated by Lester Holt of NBC. City of Charlotte, no longer under a curfew, but put in place due to violent protesting over the police killing of a black man. Charlotte Police Chief Kurt Putney says police videos released over the weekend clearly do not show Scott holding a gun.
There's no single piece. It does not make sense to us how it was possible that this incident resulted in the loss of life.
The demonstrations came after police shot and killed Keith Scott last Tuesday.
Seen people prepare so much that they get up
Investigators in
there,
Washington State still searching
speak.
for a motive in the mall shooting that left 5 dead. Police say they're interviewing a suspected shooter. A legend in the game of golf.
Ted Cruz. Lion Ted. He holds up the Bible and then he puts it down and he
passed away
lies.
Yesterday at the age of 87.
What I see on the video is the failure of the police to use all of the resources that they had at their disposal to avoid killing Keith.
My idol right here. And here comes Jack over here and beats him. And I did not like Jack beating my idol.
Also this weekend, the Major League Baseball community mourning the loss of one of its promising young stars in Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez.
When you talk about a tragedy like this, there are no words that come to mind. There's no playbook. There's no words of consolation. There's prayer and there's thought toward his family, toward his soon-to-be born daughter, and you recognize that how precious life is.
Marlins president David Sampson says Fernandez was killed early Sunday in a boating accident. An investigation continues after a Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. He was expected to start a new position today as a registered nurse at the Condell Medical Center in Libertyville. A man has died after being shot near Millennium Park. The Cook County Medical Examiner says Peter Fabry died from his injuries on Sunday. Chicago police say they continue to question a man tied to that shooting. White Sox over Cleveland 3-0. Cubs beat St. Louis 3-1. Dallas over the Bears 31-17. The news, a service of CNN's live coverage of the presidential debate. The most anticipated event of the 2016 race. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump go head-to-head for the first time on the same stage. Don't miss the first presidential debate. Special live coverage begins today at 3 on CNN. 5:35 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a spiral in the Clinton campaign.
Let me allow you to fully embrace how bad things are right now for the Clinton campaign with tightening polls, how good things are going for Donald Trump. It has turned in a major way. Donald Trump, once again, all of us who've raised concerns about Hillary Clinton's health are being vindicated.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Plus up your day with Centrum Silver multivitamins, upgraded with more vitamin D3. It's a healthy addition you can feel good about. You've always dreamed of a second home to get away to on the weekends, a place to escape, maybe a place where you can retire. That dream is closer than you ever imagined, and Turnkey Homes can help make it happen. Think of it, a getaway home in Lake Geneva, Fox Lake, Richmond, Harvard, or Woodstock. It's country living where you can leave every day behind and relax, yet still be close to everything. Check out 10 complete turnkey home and lot packages at great prices right now at turnkeyhome.com with packages from $169.9 to $199.9. And include a full basement, oversized 2-car garages, appliances, and custom color selections. Turnkey Homes has been building beautiful quality modular homes for over 30 years. And when you're ready, your dream home can be completed in around 90 days. Each Sunday in September, meet Turnkey Homes in Hebron from noon to 5. For more info, visit turnkeyhome.com. That's turnkeyhome.com. Or call 262-930-7969.
5:37, check of the roads at our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. A little heavy now on the inbound Stevenson Cicero to Pulaski. Just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Edens, the Kennedy are still fine. Starting to get a little heavy on westbound 190 around Manheim with O'Hare traffic. Eisenhower, just a little congested around Manheim. Inbound Ryan, stop and go from the Stevenson to the Circle. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown.
Those
I-57 already 35 minutes.
Do those precious seconds justify
Burger King's breakfast?
What we know and what you should know about him is that he was an American citizen who deserved better.
Sandwich breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light, flaky croissant
What I see-
with savory sausage or delicious thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 sandwich for $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds give way to sunshine, windy and cooler, high 67. Currently 61. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Dan and Amy, all right, we're talking about the Charlotte shooting. I want to get to the debate and so much to cover, but let's hear a little bit more of the videos from the videos that were released over the weekend, and we'll take your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. This is the dash cam video.
Which was silent at first, and then toward the end, you can hear them requesting medical help and putting pressure on the wound.
That's the body cam video.
Okay.
Legacy gripping his hand. Gripping his hand. Back up. I got right gun. I got gun. Back up. You on? Huh? I don't know. Hey, somebody get my bag and start getting some equipment. Where's your bag? You good? Just take it back in my trunk. You good? I'm good. Get some gloves. We need to hold the wound.
So that was the body cam video. One of the police officers, after Scott was shot, he was down on the ground. They handcuff him. You hear him moaning.
Yeah, you hear him moaning. It's awful. I know you read his arrest record, but he's a human being. My God, it's a lot to process. It breaks your heart. Sorry.
Is anybody disputing he's a human being? No, that's not in dispute. Nobody's suggesting anything other than that. Of course, he's a human being and an American citizen and deserving of his rights. So stipulated. Now let's get to the facts in this case as we understand them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the body cam video, and then the dash cam video from a patrol car that was parked opposite the incident. So it would give
opposite the truck.
Yeah, opposite the truck. So it gave you kind of a theater-like viewing of what was happening, but you were still blocked from the actual shooting and what transpired. Here's shots fired. And what you hear after that in the background is Mr. Scott's wife screaming at police. So Mr. Scott's wife, as we mentioned earlier, she filmed some of what transpired on her cell phone. Also does not capture the moment, the actual shooting.
Right. You can hear things, but you can't see it.
And so here's Mr. Scott's wife, the video she gave to NBC5, which was then put into the public domain as well.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon. He has no weapon. Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He didn't do anything. He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI. He's not going to do anything to you guys. He just took his medicine. Keith, don't let them break the windows. Come on out the car. Keith, don't do it. Keith, get out the car. Keith, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Keith, don't you do it. Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him? He better not be dead. He better not be dead. I know that much. I know that much. He better not be dead. I'm not going to come near you. I'm going to record, though. I'm not coming near you. I'm going to record, though. He better be alive, because I'm coming. You better be alive. How about that? Yes, we're over here at 9453 Lexington Court. These are the police officers that shot my husband, and he better live. He better live.
We all know how that ended. That's when she said, "You better not do it. You better not do it." And they did. You can hear them say, "Drop the gun." They said, "Drop the gun" 7 times.
So do you think that?
But what was she saying? You better not do it. You better not do it. What? Get out. She wanted him to get out of the car so they didn't break the window of their truck. But when she kept saying, "Don't do it. You better not do it." What is?
I assume she's saying.
Please help me.
I assume that's a message to the police. You better not shoot him, because that's what she was saying.
She said that, but she said, "Keith, don't do it. Keith, don't do it. Keith, don't do it. Don't do what?" And then she said that he took his TBI medicine just now.
I don't know. But here's the thing: police officers have him surrounded. I mean, there's 3 officers on the scene.
Yeah, 3.
And why do they keep saying, put down your gun if he doesn't have a gun? They're setting up a conspiracy to execute him and then plant a gun. Is that believable?
And why couldn't they have tasered him? Or again, why they couldn't have had him waited out in the car?
Because he has a gun. That's why.
Well, his attorneys, of course, he has 3 attorneys. They responded.
What I see on the video is the failure of the police to use all of the resources that they had at their disposal to avoid killing Keith.
I don't know what that means. Be specific. What resources at their disposal should have been used that were not used? It's a
drone?
question.
Was it a drone? What resources? Were they going to send in a robot? What resources?
These aren't superheroes, right? They don't lasso people. If he has a gun and he's unwilling to put down the gun and he's brandishing the gun or he's itchy with the gun and he brings it up at all, if he points it in your direction, you don't point your gun at anything you don't intend to shoot.
I know, but the video that you see from the body cam is his hands are on his side and he's backing up.
You can't see the entire event. And so
but I want to see the entire event.
That's fine, but that's cherry picking. That's including frames that are not in the video. So I don't know. Chief Putney said the video is inconclusive. He's not saying
the video doesn't show the whole tell the whole story.
He's not saying the video presents more than it presents, but you just reported from CBS News.
It's ABC,
or whatever. One of the news outlets saying that there's his DNA and his fingerprints on the gun. So that necessarily means a gun exists and that he was holding it. It was in his possession.
But in one frame, don't you see where the gun is in the picture and then their gun's not in the picture?
No, I don't see a gun.
From the wife?
I don't see a gun at all. I don't see anything that you can definitively make out because the truck, from various angles, the truck or just the angle of focus prevents you from seeing what is actually transpiring. That critical moment where police make the decision to use deadly force. You can't see it. So I'm not going to divine something that isn't there any more than Chief Putney did. But he has more information than we do, certainly, and now some of that information seems to be trickling out.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Kent in Lincoln Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. Amy, some of the stuff you say is almost insanely inconsistent. If these police officers had to make a split-second decision to shoot this guy because he had a gun out, God forbid anybody ever hold a gun on you, and put you in the position of you losing your life. And thank God those police are there. And furthermore, thank God finally the mayor of a big city had the guts to call out the National Guard and protect the citizens. And the citizens, by the way, had no idea about any of this video footage before they started rioting.
That's not true. They were rioting because they wanted the video out. They knew that the police have body cams and that there's dashboard cams.
Is that right? So the looting of the Charlotte Hornets team store and the Walmart was an expression.
The employees.
That was an expression of our desire to have the video released. Is that what that was? No. Also, this plea from Brianna Cohen is her name. She's the general manager of Sonoma Restaurant Group, which owns a couple of restaurants in downtown Charlotte. She writes in Independent Journal Review, the death of Heath Scott, if you'd asked me a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, I would have never dreamed possible the destruction and violence of this week, not in our fair city, the Queen City. I've watched Charlotte rise over the past 20 years, living and working in Uptown. Every day of every year, the community grew stronger, more diverse, businesses grew, and a true community came to be here amongst the banking towers. Last Wednesday, September 21st, 8 p.m., a side of the city I hope to never see again. Both of our restaurants, City Smoke and Aria, front and center on the national news, not celebrating our restaurant community and our beautiful city, but being attacked and under fire by anger and tear gas instead of peaceful protests. Black lives do matter. All lives matter. Cancellations, fear, silence, the aftermath. This is what we are left with. Our rehearsal dinner of 100 people scheduled for tonight canceled. Every reservation and open table canceled. No walk-ins. The phone is not ringing. The bank towers are empty. Where are our civic leaders outside of press conferences? Our Queen City is under attack. Our businesses, our livelihoods, our community. Windows can be repaired, broken glass swept up, tables reset, but how do we remind our city that we are still the Queen City, a city of life, diversity, business, arts, and the community? Black lives do matter. All of our lives matter. The Queen City is still here. My hope and plea is that she rises again. Mary on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm a police officer in Chicago. Amy, you're clueless. Let's first of all not call them protesters. They're domestic terrorists. Amy, when someone has a gun, you don't pull out a taser or pepper spray. Okay. You don't pull out non-lethal force when someone has a gun. And you know what? It doesn't matter if the gun's pointed at you. It doesn't matter if someone's 12, 80, 50. When you pull a trigger of a gun, it has the same effect where it could kill a person. We are hiring on the department, Amy. So if you'd like to see what it's like to be in our shoes, sign up, and then you can pull cars over. And when people have guns or knives, you could see how easy it is to react as you think. You could pull a taser out when someone has a gun in the car when you do a traffic stop. So sign up and come work with us.
Thanks for the call,
Thanks,
Mary.
Mary. Actually, I did join the Detroit police. I was a cadet for 2 weeks, and I do not want to be a police officer.
All right.
Because I leave it to Mary. And Mary, thanks so much for what you do, and thanks for informing me this morning.
Well, Maxine No Justice, No Peace Waters, she weighed in on MSNBC on the topic, and you can imagine what that sounds like. Well, you don't have to imagine, because we have it for your entertainment and enragement. Maxine Waters on Charlotte.
Why do they have to do that? I've seen enough. I believe the wife. I'm with the police chief. I'm not waiting for anything. Anybody who wants to wait in order to believe that it was all right to murder this man, they can do that, not me.
Wait, you think I'm a hot mess? She said I'm with the wife, but I'm with the police. What side is she on?
She's confusing the Tulsa shooting with the Charlotte shooting, and she does it throughout the interview where she talks about officers being charged. There have been no officers charged in Charlotte.
No, of course
She's
not.
standing with the police chief in Charlotte who has a view that is 180 degrees from Maxine Waters, who also said,
"Oh no,
no
there's
justice,
more?
no peace." She doesn't care what the law says. So I mean
that's psychotic.
Well, Maxine Waters is No Justice, No Peace from the L.A. riot days, and she's been in Congress ever since. No justice, no peace. I believe the wife. She's confused about the police chief. She's confused about everything except her indifference to the rule of law. So, for anybody who thinks, Mary, that Amy is offering the least productive comments, there's always Maxine Waters.
Thank you.
Tonight at 8, Trump and Hillary debate the issues. Tomorrow morning, you debate who won with Dan and Amy, starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
Well, I had back pain for the last 40 years. 4 days after I started taking this stuff, it's gone.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Not so long ago, Hillary Clinton was in the basket of deplorables she described as providing half of the supporters Donald Trump enjoys. Way back before 2013, Hillary opposed marriage redefinition. That was before she celebrated the Supreme Court's nullification of the Defense of Marriage Act Hillary had previously championed when President Bill Clinton signed it into law. As a U.S. Senator, Hillary declared she was, quote, adamantly opposed to illegal immigrants, unquote. That same U.S. Senator Hillary Clinton supported racial profiling of Muslims after the 9/11 attacks. Per her redefinitions, Hillary was for all of the isms and phobias before she was against them. Well, she's in deplorable company on the left. Jesse Jackson Sr. once termed abortion genocide. Democrat Assistant Senate Minority Leader Dick Durbin was once a pro-lifer who advocated overturning Roe v. Wade. Times change, but the left never does. The inconsistencies of the leftists' positions are in service of their consistent overriding purpose, which is the dominion over the lives of others. And that's what's truly deplorable.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Joyce called to lower her rate and pay her loan off in 27 years. I helped Joyce secure a 27-year fixed loan, saved her $45 a month, and paid all her closing costs. $45 a month might not sound like a lot, but Joyce will apply the savings to her new mortgage payment to pay her loan off in 25 years and save her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. I lowered Joyce's rate, payment, and saved her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. If you want to see if I could help you like I helped Joyce, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
The sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa is brought to you by All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living. All Seasons Pools and Spas begins from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction, and hardscaping, and then finishes with complete maintenance and care, leaving you to enjoy the of summer. As you soak up the sun poolside, imagine a fire pit, outdoor kitchen, or pergola. All Seasons Pool and Spa will turn your boring backyard into a vacation paradise. No need to go off the deep end. Relax, knowing that for over 60 years, All Seasons Pools and Spas has been making a splash in your neighborhood. Visit their showroom and store for a complete selection of pool, spa, robotic pool cleaners, and premium barbecue and grill islands. A trained staff is on hand to provide water testing, salt and chlorine products, and advice for servicing your pool. All Seasons Pool and Spa and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com. That's resortlivingathome.com.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian & Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian & Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian & Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian & Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian & Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
Finally, Trump and Clinton square off face to face.
Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office.
In the first presidential debate of 2016.
Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
Can Trump play nice?
Sit down, please.
And will Clinton have enough stamina to get through the night?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
There's no telling what will happen. Trump, Clinton, round one. And you can listen to it right here. Tonight, coverage begins at 8, right after the Joe Walsh Show on AM 560. The Answer.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We need a Netflix original series about the FBI DOJ investigation into Clinton, because this thing has nothing on, or making a murder has nothing on this investigation. And we're going to talk about it and all these curious immunity deals with Andy McCarthy from National Review at 6:06.
But first, into the newsroom we go with more on the countdown to the showdown. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan Fox with the latest on the pre-debate debate. Deadly shooting near Millennium Park. The investigation continues, and the Bears lose to the Cowboys. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They've spent months attacking each other. Tonight, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump confront one another in their first presidential debate. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Whose job is it to sniff out whoppers at the debate? Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway told ABC's This Week it's not moderator Lester Holt's place.
The Clinton campaign methodically going out there and warning the reporters that they better fact check in real time.
Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook says it's unfair for the Democrat to have to play human lie detector.
Make sure that his lies are corrected, and also to present her vision for what she wants to do.
Clinton spent the weekend preparing for the 9 p.m. Eastern event at Hofstra University. Trump remained on the campaign trail and has been holding policy discussions with advisors. Dave.
Rachel, thousands of people are being urged to evacuate in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, as the river rises and parts of the city flood. Schools will be closed through Wednesday. Other areas of the Midwest have also flooded. She's in St. Clair, Minnesota.
This is not a flood zone, so we were not prepared.
Two big names in sports have died. One was a legend. The other, a phenom, a young baseball player. First, Arnold Palmer. He was one of golf's all-time greats.
Winning 62 PGA Tour events in his life, 29 of those in the 4-year span of 1960 and 1963. Throughout his career, Palmer's fan base expanded into Arnie's Army, and alongside Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player, elevated the sport to the next level of popularity.
That's Fox's Matt Napolitano. The phenom who died, Jose Fernandez, a Miami Marlins pitcher who was Rookie of the Year in 2013.
Tragic loss for the city of Miami, for the community, for Major League Baseball, and for anyone who met Jose.
Lorenzo Valos with Florida Fish and Wildlife. Fernandez and two of his friends were killed in a boating accident. The Marlins and Braves game yesterday was canceled. A high school football player died in Ohio. Andre Jackson suffered some sort of injury playing for Euclid Friday. Kicked or kneeled during a play. He walked off the field but then was taken to a hospital. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We have 60 degrees. Winds out of the west at 11. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation is underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. Police say George Korchev and 3 others were found shot early yesterday in the 300 block of East Green Street. Korchev died at a nearby hospital. He was expected to start a new position today as a registered nurse at Condo Medical Center in Libertyville. A man has died after being shot near Millennium Park. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says 54-year-old Peter Fabry died from his injuries. Chicago police say they continue to question a man arrested after the shooting on Saturday night. The shooting stemmed from an altercation between the Berwyn man Fabry and a man currently being questioned. Authorities say nothing suspicious was found following a bomb threat at 2 schools in Long Grove. Authorities say someone called police early Saturday saying he wanted to blow up Country Meadows Elementary and Woodlawn Middle School. Chicago police are searching for the suspect involved in a sexual assault on a 13-year-old girl on the city's south side. Police say the child was walking Saturday when a person grabbed her and assaulted her in an abandoned building near the corner of 78th and Calumet. A plan is taking shape in Indiana to put a citizen commission in charge of redrawing legislative district boundaries. Lawmakers in Indiana, according to the Northwest Indiana Times, now looking for ways to make that process less political right now, as in Illinois, Indiana lawmakers redraw U.S. House and Senate and legislative district maps every 10 years, and the system allows the political party in power to draw the maps. White Sox over Cleveland 3-0. Cubs beat St. Louis 3-1. NFL, Dallas over the Bears 31-17. The news is a service of CNN's coverage of the presidential debate. It's the most anticipated event of the 2016 race. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump go head-to-head for the first time on stage. Don't miss the first presidential debate. Special live coverage begins today at 3 on CNN. 6:04. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Finally, Trump and Clinton square off face to face.
Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office.
In the first presidential debate of 2016.
Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
Can Trump play nice?
Sit down, please.
And will Clinton have enough stamina to get through the night?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
There's no telling what will happen. Trump, Clinton, round one. And you can listen to it right here. Tonight, coverage begins at 8, right after the Joe Walsh Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Our time is 6:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's west side, Damon is closed between Chicago Avenue and Augusta. Police activity. Kennedy inbound heavy coming out of the River Road toll to Cumberland. 21 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. Slow Montrose to the airport. And westbound 190 has heavy delays from the Kennedy to Manheim. And on Eisenhower, 40 minutes Thorndale to the post office. Outbound still fine at 29. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's clear. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, already 38 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford at 22. Tollways are still good. No delays to report in northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Holly Holdren.
Clouds giving way to sunshine today, windy and cooler with a high of 67. Clear and cool tonight, low 50. Then tomorrow will be mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 65. Passing shower to tomorrow night, low 50. I'm Holly Holdren on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 60 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So on Friday, there was another Hillary Clinton document dump, 189 pages of FBI's interviews of Clinton Inc. associates, Cheryl Mills, her former chief of staff, and the like. And a lot of additional questions raised as a result of these documents that were produced by the FBI, like, and in the Department of Justice, because that's who provides immunity. And one of the big questions is, why so liberal with immunity deals for subjects of an investigation, Department of Justice? Very strange. There were a couple of Clinton flacks who were asked about this over the weekend. One is her campaign manager, Robbie Mook. Mook.
Wait, what's his name, Dan?
This Dickensian toddler that's running Hillary's campaign. Listen to this goof with Jake Tapper. Tapper asked him specifically about a mention in these interviews. Platte River Networks, that IT consultant that she used, they had her servers in their closet.
But they were protected. Don't worry.
It referred to the Hillary cover-up operation, quote unquote, which they said was a joke. But if everything's such a joke, then what's this in reference to? Why the immunity deals? And of course, what does Clinton camp do? They rely on the clean bill of health they continue to impose on Jim Comey as Jim Comey's assessment of Hillary Clinton and her team's actions. Listen to Mook.
It was a document dump on Friday. We learned from the FBI that an IT contractor managing Hillary Clinton's private email server made reference to the, quote, Hillary cover-up operation in a work ticket. He used those words after a senior Clinton aide asked him to automatically delete emails after 60 days. This IT worker certainly sounded like he thought he was covering something up, no?
Look, Jake, first of all, I'm actually glad you asked this question because a lot of this stuff is swirling around there in the ether. It's important to pull back and look at the facts here. The FBI did a comprehensive and deep investigation into this, and at the conclusion of that, FBI Director Comey came out and said to the world that there was no case here, that they did not have evidence of wrongdoing on Hillary's part.
So what's the Hillary cover-up operation that the IT worker was referring to?
But this is the perfect example of what's going on here. The Republicans in the House side are selectively leaking documents for the purpose of making Hillary look bad. We have asked the FBI to release all information that they've shared with the Republicans so we can get the full picture. But again, I would trust the career professionals at the FBI and the Justice Department who looked into this matter, concluded there was no case, than I would Republicans who are selectively leaking information.
Hillary does not need any help to make herself look bad, so that was Mook.
Well, it makes him look bad when he blames Republicans. This is so silly.
It's absurd. And then you had the more senior advisor, because he's got a beard, so he's distinguished and an intellectual. Joel Benson was on with Chris Wallace, asked the same question. What's with all these immunity deals? Standard issue, nothing to see here. Matter of course in these investigations.
Well, Chris, I think you're probably familiar with what limited immunity is, and it's fairly routine when police and law enforcement are investigating a particular issue, and you're sitting down with them to give full cooperation, turn over materials, hand over computers, BlackBerries, whatever. They narrow their scope of their investigation to the issue at hand. And so what limited immunity is, anything else, is irrelevant to them at that. They're looking at the specific investigation, and that's what limited immunity means, Chris. I believe you know that. Sure, so it's fairly appropriate and routine.
Mm-hmm. It's all appropriate and routine. For another perspective on this, we're happy to be joined again by our friend Andy McCarthy, who writes over National Review, nationalreview.com, and also a former federal prosecutor who prosecuted the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. So he knows something about federal prosecutions and federal investigations that lead to prosecutions. And he's written a couple of compelling pieces over the weekend on this topic. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, good morning.
So, Joel Benson, this is routine. There's nothing to see here. This is much ado about very little sound and fury from the Republicans. Is that right?
Well, no, there's nothing routine about giving somebody immunity in exchange for something you could obtain by handing them a subpoena. What happened in this case, and it's interesting for him to see that the last fellow that you've had on the tape, where he says that, this is routine, the prosecutors, the Justice Department narrows the case down, and then extraneous things they can grant immunity on because it's not really the focus of the investigation. What they gave Cheryl Mills immunity on, Cheryl Mills being Mrs. Clinton's then deputy chief of staff at the State Department, what they gave her immunity on was her computer. And it was on that computer that they decided which of the 62,000 emails on Clinton's server were going to be turned over to the government and which she was going to retain, that is to say, which she was going to try to destroy. And she actually did destroy many thousand of them. So, number one, they gave her immunity on something that went to the heart of the investigation. And secondly, it is true that you do give limited immunity routinely in an investigation for things like in exchange for submitting to an interview with the FBI, they may make a limited immunity agreement that's known as a proffer agreement, whereby they agree that we won't use any of the statements you make in the interview against you, but everything else is fair game, and we can even use the statements you give us to get investigative leads, and if we find anything, we can use those against you too. So it's a very limited form of immunity. But that's not what happened here. They didn't give her immunity in exchange for sitting down for an interview. They gave her immunity from prosecution on anything they might find in the computer. It would be the same as like if you found a guy coming out of a bank, right, and he's running down the street, he's got a big sack on his back. It would be the equivalent of you say to him, "Well, let me see what's in your bag, and I'll give you immunity for what's ever in it."
Wow.
So basically, you're forfeiting the right to prosecute the bank robbery if he'll show you what's in the bag.
So Cheryl Mills wouldn't have turned over her laptop unless she was granted immunity?
She wouldn't have had a choice. You don't have there's no Fifth Amendment privilege to physical evidence. So you have a Fifth Amendment privilege not to be forced to be a witness giving oral testimony against yourself, but any physical attribute of your person and any physical item that you possess, the grand jury has a right to. So all the government has to do to get you to turn that over is simply hand you a subpoena. And if you don't comply with the subpoena, they can prosecute you for contempt of court. If they're afraid that you're going to destroy the thing, whatever the item is, rather than comply with the subpoena, they can go to a judge and get a search warrant to have the agents take it from you forcibly. But you don't have to horse trade to get something that the law gives you a right to get without having to make any concessions. So prosecutors never give immunity in exchange for the surrendering of a piece of evidence that they could simply get by subpoena.
And Rudy Giuliani was on. He basically said it seems like the purpose of this investigation was to hand out immunity deals. It's not just Cheryl Mills, her former chief of staff. It's also her longtime aide, Heather Samuelson, given the same immunity deal. You write in one of your pieces that both Mills and Samuelson, who are lawyers, also permitted to represent Hillary Clinton in the very same investigation, which they were personally granted immunity from prosecution. I mean, the layers of this are rather remarkable. And isn't it normally the case when you're working through the prospect of a criminal enterprise that you use subordinates to get to the principal? So in other words, you use your prosecutorial leverage to maybe grant immunity if they're going to testify against the principal, who's the ultimate target, but you don't just run around insulating all the subordinates from the ultimate target of your investigation so that they have no incentive to cooperate and that you create hurdles to the principal.
Yeah, that's of course true. But let me just try to cut to the chase, because I have a column that's up this morning about this. I don't think this investigation ever had a chance of yielding charges. And the real reason for that is that President Obama engaged in the same behavior that Mrs. Clinton did, which is another thing that was confirmed in the document dump this weekend. He actually had a pseudonym,
right,
which is very interesting, an alias that he used to exchange emails with her. And emails between the president and the Secretary of State, especially if they're about any kind of policy matters, are going to be presumptively classified. I argued 8 months ago that there's no way that the Justice Department could charge Mrs. Clinton without exhibiting in a very embarrassing way that Obama himself had engaged in the same behavior in violation of the law, in violation of his own executive order laying out the categories of classified information. So I think this whole thing was made to look like a thorough investigation that would exonerate Mrs. Clinton in the end, with everybody in the equation knowing that there was no way charges were ever going to be brought. And I think that's been confirmed by what we've seen.
Well, and the other embarrassing thing would have been that everybody would know then that President Obama's pseudonym was Carlos Danger.
No,
and that would have been embarrassing.
What was his
for him
pseudonym?
as well.
What was his?
We don't know what his pseudonym
we
was.
just
we just know he had one from
Yeah,
his
but the
document dump.
interesting thing is that you're quite right. It comes out in a conversation with Huma Abedin, who I guess knows an alias if she's heard one.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
she
Yes,
does.
yes.
Hey-o.
That's true. Yes, she was very interested in that pseudonym. I think she wanted to cross-check it. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you guys just didn't ask me to spell pseudonym. So
Yes. Nor myself.
Well, so it was never. I mean, this is very interesting. That the whole thing, this was just a big show investigation, is what you're saying, because ultimately they had to insulate not just Hillary Clinton. So you're essentially suggesting that Jim Comey, who I know you know and have great admiration and respect for, you're essentially saying he was in the tank for the President of the United States, if not for the former Secretary of State.
As far as personalities are concerned, I'm not going to go any further than to say the Justice Department was in the tank. How much he was in the know about that, I don't venture a guess on. But if the Attorney General decides there's not going to be any case, or more importantly, if the President decides there's not going to be any case, then there's not going to be a case.
So he couldn't bring charges. Yeah.
Let me run this theory by you. We had former Assistant FBI Director Bill Gavin on the show, and who also knows Comey and has great respect for him. He suggested.
I know him well.
Okay, he suggested that maybe what Comey was doing here, he didn't say this is what he knows. He just said, here's a theory. Maybe what Comey was doing, knowing that it was going to be buried at DOJ if he referred charges, is actually was his way to get all of this information into the public domain for consideration by the electorate in advance of the November election, because otherwise it would have been buried as part of an ongoing investigation/prosecution if he had referred charges, and we would never have seen these documents that we're discussing today, among others, if he had referred for charges.
Well, I do think that Bill is quite correct that in almost every investigation where charges are not brought, you would never, ever have seen the underlying evidence, and you would have had no right to see the underlying evidence. Usually, these are conversations that go on between agents and prosecutors behind closed doors. The government doesn't have any obligation to tell you why they decide not to bring charges, and it's highly unusual that we actually learn that information. I think Director Comey's rationale for that, at least his public rationale for that, has been that when the FBI devotes major resources and time to an investigation, and it's a matter of such public attention, that the public has a right to know. And I think he probably understood that if he hadn't put the information out, Congress was going to hold hearings and the information was going to come out no matter what. So I think he put his best stamp on it. But we were going to find out about this anyway because of Congress. But I think Bill is right that Comey did try to make sure that there was a public accounting. The flaw in the argument is that we're starting now to learn a lot of things that are floating out in these document dumps and in the other Freedom of Information Act lawsuits that suggest that it was a very selectively mined body of evidence that the Bureau put out. There's a lot of stuff that's in there that we weren't told that we probably should have been told. But we're going to find out.
All right.
And hopefully there'll be a document dump in the middle of the week next time.
Yeah, well,
not on a Friday.
Only Fridays. Isn't there a long weekend coming up? That'll be the one to look at.
Columbus Day.
He is Andy McCarthy, Nash Review Online, really a tremendous resource for understanding all of the legal issues associated with this investigation, generally speaking, but specific to the Hillary investigation, really distills it very nicely for the layman to understand. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Here, the first presidential debate, tonight at 8.
She's got a temperament of a loser.
Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning starting at 5.
He is trying to scam America.
On AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, well, quite an about face for Lion Ted Cruz. He's now supporting Donald Trump. But first, here's your forecast. Clouds giving some way to sun today. It's going to be windy, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. A high of just 67, which is a big difference than yesterday. So summer may be officially over and feel like it's officially over. And then tomorrow, more of the same, breezy, mostly sunny skies, a high of 65. Any reasonable travel times? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, it's getting heavy on the outbound Kennedy with delays starting at Damon. Now 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare, plus westbound 190 is clogged up until you get past Manheim. Inbound 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but it's very slow. The Adams Tollway starting around Elmhurst Road. Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to the junction. The Ike 43 minutes Thorndale to downtown outbound 35. The Stevenson 44 minutes 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 26 minutes 95th to downtown. I-57 38 minutes I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State very slow. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Napa know-how. A Napa guy knows that by the foot, there's no better ride than an old station wagon. Room for 6 people facing forward, 2 people facing backward, and a whole lot of luggage, lumber, and bicycles haphazardly strapped to the roof. If you can parallel park that beast, you can park anything. And with some quality parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep your land ship running longer, stronger. It's not obsolete. It's a rare treasure. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
As a business owner or HR director, you've seen medical plans disappear. You've seen deductible and co-payment and total out-of-pocket expenses skyrocket, and the new prescription plans are a joke. You've been forced to accept the Obamacare-compliant plans, while at the same time, labor organizations and other friends of the establishment have been given special exemptions. Thankfully, the market for group health insurance has caught up, and some companies we work with can now offer these same ACA-exempt policies for your employees. My name is Greg Eck, president of Beneficial Solutions. Our team has been reacting to ever-changing insurance markets for the past 25 years. Beneficial Solutions will arm your company with the latest tools to protect your business from potential ACA penalties and make the most of your employee benefit dollars. Call us now so we can game plan before open enrollment season arrives at 630-717-8282. That's 630-717-8282. Or find us online at beneficialsolutions.com.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Ted Cruz did a full pivot and he endorsed Donald Trump on Friday. He also communicated to Trump, apparently, that he's willing to help the campaign in whatever way he can. It was a Facebook post. That was his communication of the endorsement, but an ABC 13 reporter in Houston caught up with him, and here's what Cruz said about his decision.
It's been a decision, as I said, I've been thinking about and praying about for weeks and months, discussing it with my family, and I made the decision today and announced it today.
Go home! Go home! The first-term Texas senator took a lot of heat when he did not endorse nominee Donald Trump at the national convention this summer.
I told him I'm not going to endorse you.
Why not?
Well, here's the thing, though. What Ted Cruz, when he made this, comment to the reporter from Channel 13, he said it wasn't personal, but this is very strange.
I have forgiven him. This is not personal. It's not about our family. It's about the country.
I have forgiven him, but it's not personal. Isn't forgiveness all about something that's personal? I mean, he insulted his wife. Heidi. He insulted his father and said that he was, responsible for the Kennedy assassination. And I really thought that Ted Cruz would never back Donald Trump. But I don't think it's going to help Donald Trump any. Do you? I
think it just helps. I mean, it's just more people falling in line. I think it's marginal. I think how it improves Ted Cruz's standing among some is marginal. I don't know. I mean, the people that were very upset about what he did at the convention, do they forgive Cruz the way that Cruz says he and his family have forgiven Donald Trump for some of what he said during the primary campaign? But one of the other things it does, and by the way, Donald Trump, who said he would refuse Cruz's endorsement if he offered it, also graciously accepted it. So there's an about face by both of them here, which is what Krauthammer points out. Doesn't this cut against both brands?
It does help, but I think David's right. This is about Cruz much more than it is about Trump. And when he says it makes him a little cynical, I would have to say that's an understatement. Should make you very cynical. I love the way that Cruz said after searching his conscience. Whenever a politician says he searched his conscience, you can assume it was a quick search of a very small space. Now, I'm not saying anything personal about Cruz, but remember, he and Trump were the outsiders, and what was their calling card from the very beginning? We don't act like the Washington insiders. We don't scratch each other's back. We speak our conscience, etc. Well, it turns out in the end that they do what you'd expect of any other candidates, which is why, I don't denounce them or deplore what they're doing here. This is business as usual, but weren't they the candidates who are against the business as usual?
Yeah.
Well, isn't this a risky gamble, though, for Ted Cruz? He is going to face a primary challenger for his Senate seat.
He may or may not. We'll see.
Oh, well, one person on ABC, a political analyst, said this makes him look cravingly opportunistic and unprincipled.
Yeah, well, those are people that don't have his best interests at heart. I think Krauthammer has a point, but there's also this other thing to remember. Ted Cruz was one of the candidates who stood on the stage at multiple debates and said he was going to support whoever the nominee was because anybody on the stage was better than Hillary Clinton. So it's a long way around to essentially keeping the commitment he made during the primary, regardless of the personal insults back and forth. And there were insults leveled by Cruz against Trump as well, as much as he tried to resist the temptation. So, I think it's a little unfair to kind of say this undermines their brands as outsiders just because one is keeping his commitment to the other.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade, so many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common: Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online, masterfencerental.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
If I had one question to ask the candidates, I've got my question. Does Mike Gallagher have his? We'll talk to our colleague in sound, Mike Gallagher, about the debate at 6:36.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Lots of eyes glued to TV, lots of ears on the radio tonight. The first of three debates between Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and her Republican rival Donald Trump. Some talk leading up to the debate has been a bit scandalous. Fox's John Roberts this morning. More from the site of the first debate, Hempstead, New York.
Gary Johnson was seen to take more votes away from Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. But if his numbers are going down and the top two are still staying as close as they were, that's good news for Trump. Yesterday at Trump Tower, he met for an hour with Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. That was a good, optics, if you will, ahead of the debate, showing Donald Trump as a potential world leader.
Fox's John Roberts, 42 days until Election Day. Protests continue for a 6th night in Charlotte, North Carolina. Last night, the mayor lifted the midnight to 6 a.m. curfew, a state of emergency, of course, imposed after Tuesday's fatal shooting of Keith Scott. Tributes to golf great Arnold Palmer coming in from all over the world. Palmer died yesterday at a Pittsburgh hospital following heart trouble. He was 87 years old.
Watching Hogan, watching Nicklaus, the guys that were coming up and the guys that were going down, and to be right in the middle was fun for me.
Fun watching Hogan and Nicklaus battle in his first U.S. Open victory in 1960. Palmer says that was a favorite. Organizers of the British Open paid tribute to Palmer. The head of the European Tour says, without question, without Arnold Palmer's participation in the Open Championship in the early 60s, there would not be a catalyst for the internationalization of golf. Walmart apologizing this morning for not making a cake for a police officer's retirement party. Last week, workers at a Walmart in McDonough, Georgia, refused to make that thin blue line cake for a woman. They claimed it was racist. That cake was later made and donated by Kroger. An investigation continues after a suburban Mundelein man was killed. Happened in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. The man died after being shot near Millennium Park. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says 54-year-old Berwyn native Peter Fabry died from his injuries on Sunday. And authorities say nothing suspicious has been found following a bomb threat at 2 schools in suburban Long Grove. White Sox blank Cleveland 3-0. Cubs over St. Louis 3-1. Dallas beat our Bears 31-17. The news is service of Burger King's breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light flaky croissant piled with savory sausage or thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant, $4, only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Automated Systems Incorporated, and by Best Dental Group.
Plus up your day with Centrum Silver multivitamins, upgraded with more vitamin D3. It's a healthy addition you can feel good about.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
638. Check of the roads at our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is 27 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19 to Kennedy. Now 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 30 minutes to Montrose. An hour to the airport. The Eisenhower. 51 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 45. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's okay. Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57. 38 minutes. I-80 to the merge. The northbound Tri-State has scattered delays between 95th and LaGrange Road, and it's slow from the Stevenson to 47th and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices every day on the office items you use most, and right now is a great time to stock up and save the Buy More, Save More event happening in Staples stores. The more you buy, the more you save on everything your office needs. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds give way to sun. Windy and cooler. High 67. A low of 50 overnight. 50. 61 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, we've got wall-to-wall debate coverage tonight, don't we?
Yeah, it's the first debate, of course, between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And AM 560 will have complete coverage all day before, during, and after the debate, including extended edition of Joe Walsh's show. And, of course, Mike Gallagher will be here as well.
And speaking of Mike Gallagher is joining us now to do a little debate review, do a little debate prep for Donald Trump. I'm sure he's listening, cramming the last few hours before the debate. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Hey, greetings, guys, from Hofstra University on Long Island. I'm watching you guys online. You know, I've learned two things. Two things I've just seen by watching you. One, whatever you're eating, Dan, on the 6:30 newscast looks delicious. I'm hungry.
It's the orange chicken.
It's delicious looking, and Amy talks a lot with her hands. So
yes, I do.
I love it.
I saw
Well, Amy brings leftovers for the kids here, so it's very nice. Monday's her special day. Of course,
she's a giver that way. She's very generous.
And of course, Mike Gallagher follows us 9 to 11 a.m. right on here on these airwaves, Monday through Friday. Mike, if I had one question to ask the two candidates, if Lester Holt ceded one question to me, my question would be: do you think government can be run like a business? Because I think it would be interesting for both of them, since Hillary has tried to run government like a business and showed the corrupting influence of that approach. And of course, because Trump comes from the business world, and there's, in my opinion, limited application to running government like a business. Applying business principles, yes, but it's just a completely different enterprise. It's a social service provider, not a for-profit enterprise. And it'd be interesting to get their perspectives on that. But if you had one question, if Lester Holt said, hey, Mike Gallagher, come on down here. We're going to give you one question for the candidates this evening. What would your question be?
Well, mine would be, after that great question, why can't Dan be the moderator? That'd be my question.
That's an excellent question.
But it's a good question, and you're right. If they focus on things like that, it'll be a good night for Trump. If they're worried about things like the debate over fact-checking, because that has become a big part of the controversy over these debates, is a moderator supposed to be in the role of fact-checker? And I really believe that's been a smokescreen created by the Clinton side, because the inference there is that, you know, Trump lies so often, as if Hillary has some kind of she's cornered the market on truth. So if they start going down a list of, well, this is verifiable, this is not verifiable. But make no mistake, guys, there's a lot of pressure on Lester Holt. This could be arguably the most, viewed and listened to broadcast of our time. I mean, they're already saying that 75% of all Americans are going to watch or listen to some or all of this debate. So, many, many millions of people are going to be making up their mind. And obviously Hillary and Trump are fighting for the undecided. So a lot of people are already decided. But for people who, and this is why the debate offers potentially a great opportunity for Trump, because the dirty little secret about Trump is he's likable, even though he's positioned as this boorish, brash guy. When you hear him for a while, I've been to a number of his rallies, and of course had the chance to interview him on a number of occasions. He actually is a likable guy. He's a little bit self-deprecating. He's got a sense of humor that people like. If that comes through tonight, that could be really big for him, as they're neck and neck and in a dead heat, both in the battleground states and nationally. There are a lot of things you could use to describe Hillary Clinton with. I'm not sure likability would make the top 100. So the more people listen to her, unless she's able to really turn on the charm offensive, she risks not being particularly likable tonight. So if he can be Trump, if Trump is Trump and doesn't go off the rails, I'm so relieved that they uninvited Jennifer Flowers, because my first reaction was, holy cow, you don't want to make Hillary look sympathetic or a victim, and that's probably why the Trump side decided not to do that. It was sort of a knee-jerk counter to Mark Cuban, who's been taunting Trump, his longtime rival. He's supposed to be at the debate. There's some question about whether he's going to be in the front row, whether he's going to be in the back row. Who cares?
You were tasked to sit in between the two if they showed up.
Listen, I was going to bring all of them. I thought Monica, Jennifer Flowers,
Juanita
Broderick,
sure, yeah.
Paula Jones. You could fill the whole auditorium apparently with friends of Bill. But
according to Mike, sorry for interrupting. According to Jennifer Flowers' publicist, she is still going to tonight's event.
Well, and again, there's far be it for me to give any advice to Trump, because Lord knows people have tried, and he kind of does his thing. I mean, it's a classic Trump move. It's out trolling a troll move. You got Clinton invites Mark Cuban, who's blasting Trump every chance he gets. So, you want somebody who's a critic? How about we'll put Jennifer there in the front row? So, but again, I know what will happen. The media will say, "Oh, isn't it so sad for poor Hillary? She's been victimized all over again." I'm not sure that's a move that serves him well. But again, I should know this year. Who cares what we think, right? I mean, what Trump has done has led him to this place in history where he is now neck and neck, head to head with a machine. There's no reason, as she herself said in that bizarre video the other day, why am I not 50 points ahead? Are you wondering why I'm not? Well, that's a good question, because she had all the advantages. She's still the odds-on favorite, but it all could change after tonight.
Well, she's the only one asking herself that question. Why is she not 50 points ahead? Everybody else knows the answer. So there's no need to posit the question. But I wonder tonight, too, but world events, as disturbing as they are, seem to also play in Trump's favor tonight, coming off of the riots in Charlotte, coming off of yet another series of terrorist attacks at Washington Mall shooting on Friday. Maybe another one, we don't know, but it may be. And that plays right into kind of Trump's Make America Safe Again as part of Making America Great Again.
Dan, you're so right. In fact, my first guest today at 9:05 here on 560 The Answer will be Governor Mike Pence, Trump's vice presidential running mate, and he has been clearly tasked this week with advancing the message that stop and frisk, that controversial New York police practice, which has been basically banned by a liberal judge in New York, works. And it does work. When you stop somebody, and goodness knows in Chicagoland there's lots of people who deserve to be scrutinized, who fit a certain profile or a characteristic.
Mostly the politicians, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. And we'll stop and frisk them first, and then maybe the other bad guys in the streets. But Pence is going around, repeating that message of stop and frisk and advancing that. So we'll ask him about that this morning at 9:05. We've also got a slew of big guests. Sean Spicer from the RNC. We're going to talk to some Trump surrogates. We're just going to get kind of a lay of the land. We're at the Hofstra University campus radio station right now. Klieg lights are up everywhere. Security is very intense here, as you might imagine. And it's, the countdown is on to what is going to be a huge event.
I'm surprised they let a conservative broadcast from campus.
I snuck in. Listen, I was in the back of a mail truck. They didn't. We had the windows all darkened out, and I got in. They carried me in like from Annie. I was in the mail. I was in the big laundry bin, and they got me in somehow. It was tough. It took 5 guys to carry me, obviously, but I'm in, and I'm hunkered down, and I'm excited about a big show.
Mike Gallagher, real quick. The rules are set for tonight. Hillary Clinton wanted a step stool because she's short. She's only 5'4". I didn't realize that. And there's going to be no breaks. Do you think Hillary Clinton has the stamina to make it 90 minutes without? I mean, she's an elderly person. She's got to go to the bathroom sometime.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I had a dream night before last that she did lapse into one of those hacking up a lung attacks that she's had. Can you imagine if that happens? I mean, Trump will just stand there with that look on his face, and that'll be it. You might as well just...
Yeah. And if she falls,
short circuits.
But if she falls, he might run over to grab her. Then he'd look like the hero, and then her campaign would be over.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Not
it was the most vivid dream, and I'm not proud of this dream because obviously none of us want anything bad to happen to Hillary, and we pray for her health. I mean, but listen, there have been lots of legitimate questions about her physical stamina and her condition. And when you collapse, as I keep saying, and you pop out of your shoe and you're dragged unconscious into a van just a week or two ago in a nice, cool 77-degree morning, and you're saying you were overheated, there might be an issue going on. So let's just hope she gets through maybe there'll be a catheter up there. Who knows what she'll need to get through 90 minutes, but I suspect she'll get through it. I think she'll power through, guys.
All right. He is Mike Gallagher. The show 9 to 11 every day on these airwaves. 9:05. He's got future Vice President Mike Pence. Mike Gallagher, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the debate.
Great visiting with you. I'm going to keep watching now. Pass the bagel, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
And he'll be on from 11 p.m. tonight with Larry Elder and during our continuous coverage. And
sorry about that. Good morning, guys.
And we want to remind people that Mike Gallagher will also be at Freedom Summit Chicago, October 29th. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com and get your tickets.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Oh, big change from yesterday. It feels like fall out there. You might have to turn your heat on in your car this morning because it's pretty cool. 60 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 67 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And then tomorrow, sunny but still breezy. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour and a high near 65. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
I'd already have some debate watch party traffic, Amy. It's heavy. On the Kennedy, 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound an hour and 2 minutes to get to the airport. 30 minutes to Montrose. Eden's 35 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound it's 23. The Eisenhower. 55 minutes Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 46. The Stevenson is an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 51 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. Ryan 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State northbound, it's jammed. 95th to 31st and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams tollway delays from Barrington to Roselle and Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Reagan tollway tight, Rowan toll to Farnsworth, and then it is stop and go from Highland to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Broadcasters expecting to do big advertising business from the first presidential debate, and we're expecting a congressional override of the president's veto. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
Wall Street and the world turning its eyes tonight on Hofstra University. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton squaring off for their first debate of the campaign. It'll be big business for broadcasters, an audience estimated at more than 100 million for both television and radio. Investors will be focusing on economic reports this week as well. Those reports include the Dallas Manufacturing Survey and an update on new home sales. Attorneys expecting substantial increases in their business if Congress successfully overrides the president's veto of legislation allowing families of September 11th victims to sue Saudi Arabia. Lawmakers of both parties say they have the votes to override the president's veto. Please join me for live coverage of the first 2016 presidential debate tonight on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I want you to know that Steve Reich will be the best representative for McHenry County. Steve knows you have to walk on both sides of the road, and he sees rising property taxes driving out homeowners who thought they'd get help. Well, Steve Reich will fight for tax relief that will also grow the local economy. And I know Steve Reich will have a strong voice for the farmers. Steve will work for you and everybody in McHenry County. Elect Steve Reich for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by citizens to elect Stephen Reich.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we were talking to Mike Gallagher and this whole little contretemps about is Jennifer Flowers being invited by the Trump campaign to the debate. Mike Pence was on Chris Wallace's show over the weekend. He dismissed that out of hand.
Jennifer Flowers will not be attending the debate tomorrow night, but Donald Trump was using the tweet yesterday really to mock an effort by Hillary Clinton and her campaign to really distract attention from where the American people are going to be focused tomorrow night, which is on the issues, it's on the choice that we face.
Yeah, so
and that's true. I don't want this to turn into a freak show or some reality TV show, but Jennifer
late
Flowers.
for that.
Publicist Judy Stell said Mrs. Flowers has agreed to join Donald at the debate. So we'll see if she shows up. And actually, I don't even want to know if she shows up.
I think I'll trust Mike Pence on that. I think he probably has more inside knowledge than does Jennifer Flowers' publicist. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. I think that I'm glad that was just not going to be followed through. I think it would be better to invite perhaps a Benghazi victim's survivor to sit in that front row. And then maybe a James Comey doppelganger wearing a collar led in on a leash by a Loretta Lynch doppelganger.
Yeah, now that's some creative thinking.
Tonight at 8, Trump and Hillary debate the issues. Tomorrow morning, you debate who won with Dan and Amy, starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, hormone balance is a big deal. If your hormones are out of whack, it can account for so many health challenges like low energy and fatigue, spaced out memory, low sex drive, otherwise known as the dead in bed syndrome. Nothing excites you anymore with you watching more and more TV every night, misusing food or alcohol, and then there's the hair loss that you thought was age appropriate, and then the weight gain. Let me tell you about our specially priced, dirt cheap hormone test. No blood, just saliva. Interesting that with over 33 years in private practice, I've never seen normal hormone test results in the first go-around. And that's why you need to have us help you balance your hormones once and for all. So call our HealthQuest radio hotline at 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. No blood, just spit. Call 800-794-1855. Oh, and be sure to listen to HealthQuest Radio with me, Dr. David Kobaba, this Saturday morning at 11. But for now, call 800-794-1855.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, co-founder, president, and CEO of Signature Bank. We founded Signature Bank in 2006 with one goal: to serve as Chicago's business bank. Now, 10 years later, we've seen that vision turn into a reality. We'd like to help your business realize all of its potential. My co-founders and I have many years of experience in commercial banking. When we learn about your business, we sit down across the table from you. When you have concerns, we pick up the phone to talk them through. We know your name and your story. At Signature Bank, when we make a commitment, we deliver.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, an epic night in politics. What questions do you want asked? Your phone calls next. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
An investigation underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in Champaign. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's something they'll never forget. Students at Hofstra University in New York ready for a presidential debate that could have a record-breaking audience.
Everyone on campus is just so excited. This is such a massive event.
It's really cool, though, to be here and see all of this.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will take the stage in 13 hours. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Trump spent the weekend campaigning, and he met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, campaign manager Kellyanne Conway.
Donald Trump's got great president stature. He's a brilliant debater.
Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook told ABC's This Week that moderator Lester Holt should fact-check the debate.
All that we're asking is that if Donald Trump lies, that it's pointed out.
The Trump team says that's not the moderator's job. This could be the most watched political event in TV history, with more than 100 million people expected to tune in to the 9 p.m. Eastern debate at Hofstra University on Long Island. Dave.
Rachel, the man accused of murdering 5 people in Washington state, shooting them inside a Macy's at a mall on Friday, will make his first court appearance today. Arjan Satin was arrested the day after. This neighbor says he was creepy.
Really awkward, and he was weird, and he had weird interactions, like when you talk to him, he grunted, or he would just not say anything.
The 20-year-old's a Turkish immigrant with prior arrests and domestic violence cases. One of the all-time great golfers has died, Arnold Palmer, who had such a big fan base they were called Arnie's Army.
When television came along, it had a tremendous impact on the game.
Palmer won 7 major championships. He died Sunday in Pittsburgh. The 87-year-old had suffered heart failure in their mourning in Miami after star Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez was killed in a boating accident along with 2 friends. Fernandez was just 24, Rookie of the Year in 2013. His manager, Don Mattingly, teared up, reflecting.
The passion he felt about playing
That's what I think about.
Yesterday's Marlins and Braves game was canceled in honor of Fernandez. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
This morning, skies are mostly clear. We have 60 degrees. Clouds will roll back in, and we'll stay cloudy for a good chunk of the week ahead. Full forecast in just a moment. An investigation is underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. George Korchev and 3 others were found shot early yesterday in the 300 block of East Green Street. Korchev died at a nearby hospital. He was expected to begin a position today as a registered nurse at the Condo Medical Center in Libertyville. A man has died after being shot near Millennium Park. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says 54-year-old Berwyn native Peter Fabry died from his injuries Sunday. Chicago police say they continue to question a man arrested in that shooting Saturday night. Authorities say nothing suspicious was found following a bomb threat at 2 schools in Long Grove. Early Saturday, someone called police wanting to blow up Country Meadows Elementary and Woodlawn Middle School. Lake County sheriffs searched both buildings and did not find anything. Chicago police are looking for a suspect after a 13-year-old girl was sexually assaulted on the city's south side. The young victim remains hospitalized this morning in good condition. 5 teens are recovering after overdosing on anxiety medication. Happened at a weekend house party in suburban Tower Lakes. The incident happened early Saturday while the teens were drinking and using Xanax. And the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services is setting a record it would rather not have when it comes to youth fatalities. The Tribune reporting on Sunday, 11 youths have died in DCFS care in a 2-year period that ended in June of 2015. An office audit indicates poverty, according to the study, played a role in that spike. White Sox over Cleveland, 3-0. Carlos Rodon struck out a career-high 11. David Ross homered in the Cubs' win over St. Louis. And the Bears stumbled to another loss, falling in Dallas, 31-17. The News, a service of Staples with great deals on everything you need printed for your business. Now get 20% back in rewards on all color printing, brochures, flyers, even signs, printed same day or next day. Ends 10/29. Exclusions apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Finally, Trump and Clinton square off face to face.
Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office.
In the first presidential debate of 2016.
Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
Can Trump play nice?
Sit down, please.
And will Clinton have enough stamina to get through the night?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
There's no telling what will happen. Trump, Clinton, round 1. And you can listen to it right here. Tonight, coverage begins at 8, right after the Joe Walsh Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:07. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays starting at Gulf Road. It's 35 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy now 53 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 28 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 13 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 46. The Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 35 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford 21. Northbound Tri-State, it's bumper to bumper, 95th to 31st, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway slow from the Elgin Toll to 31, Barrington to Roselle, and very slow Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway heavy from the Aurora Toll to Farnsworth, and jammed Highland of the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial slow, 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, northbound I-65, so 61st to past 49th Ave. Crash in the left lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Holly Holdren.
We'll have clouds giving way to sunshine today. Windy and cooler, high 67. Clear and cool this evening, low 50. Then tomorrow will be mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 65. Look for a passing shower tomorrow night, low 50. I'm Holly Holdren on AM 560, The Answer.
We had a brief glimpse at clear sky, but now it's clouding back up again. Mostly cloudy officially at O'Hare and Midway, 59. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes back to the footage. The footage itself will not create in anyone's mind absolute certainty as to what this case represents and what the outcome should be.
I think it's a problem anybody who disrespects this country and the flag. If they don't like the country, they don't like our flag, get the hell out.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it's the big night, and it's being treated just like Super Bowl preview, where you're getting into all of the idiosyncrasies and inanities of the debate, the stage, and the props, and the bathroom breaks, and the fact-checking. Is there going to be real-time fact-checking or not? This is battered around all weekend. The real-time fact-checking, is it a big deal?
They don't want him. The commissioner one of the commissioners on the presidential debate did not want Lester Holt being, told facts in his ear, saying no, on this certain date he didn't say that. He told Howard Stern that he was against the war, that he might be for it over time,
and he shouldn't be. And here's the deal. By the way, your one question, or at least your one topic that you want explored by both candidates tonight, at the behest of Lester Holt, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And also, just another programming note of sorts in the region, the Chicago region. If you haven't had enough after tonight's debate, tomorrow night in Park Ridge, that's where Hillary was born and reared, there is a screening of Dinesh D'Souza's new movie, Hillary's America, that's going to be in Park Ridge at the Pickwick Theater.
Yeah. The only theater in town in Park Ridge.
You go online to Eventbrite and search for Hillary's America and Hillary's Hometown, and you'll find that, and you can sign up for that screening of Hillary's America for Dinesh D'Souza's new movie. But the fact checking, just going back to that, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think Lester Holt should be well researched, and then it should be a conversation. And the way that you can press someone without being accusatory, without inserting yourself into debate, like you're somebody who's participating in the debate and taking a position, is if, for example, Donald Trump says, I'm pro-life and I'm going to appoint a Supreme Court justices who are pro-life. Well, the follow-up question could be, this is hypothetical. I'm just giving like format.
When was your moment that you changed from pro-choice to pro-life?
Right, but Mr. Trump, it's my understanding you weren't always pro-life. Mm-hmm. If that is true, then when was the change, and or, importantly, why should people trust you with respect to that Supreme Court nominee and that being a defining issue? What is it that occurred that people should trust you, since, you don't have a track record in public life in elective office? That would be one way to do it. It could be on any issue. It could be on the war in Iraq. Mm-hmm. You said when he says, well, I, unlike Republicans and Democrats and Hillary, I oppose the war in Iraq. Okay, follow up. Now, you never at no time did you support the war in Iraq. I just want to clarify, is that correct? At no time you did. And then, if you want to go, if the campaigns and news outlets want to bat back and forth after the debate what was said, then that's fine. That's not Lester Holt's job. His job is to press them for clarity of position and argument, and then let people kind of litigate it after the debate.
And I think he's a perfect moderator because he's not self-serving. He's not all about himself, and he doesn't have that look at me mentality that a lot of anchors have. So I trust him on there, and it helps too that he's a Republican. We found out thanks to Donald Trump accusing him of being a Democrat. But the real question is tonight: what debate questions should Hillary and Donald Trump fear the most? What should they fear to be asked? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Because Benghazi is going to come up. And I want to hear her try and squirm her way and worm her way out of that.
Well, she's going to give the same answer she's been giving.
But she shouldn't. And that's when Donald Trump hopefully could interrupt her and say no, and kind of fact-checked her himself rather than having Lester Holt do it. Is it going to allow that interaction to take place?
It would be more fun if there was freewheeling between the two candidates. I suspect at some points during the debate, during the 90 minutes, there will be some freewheeling because you're just not going to be able to prevent it. Somebody will interrupt somebody will challenge somebody, and then that the person challenged will be given an opportunity to respond, and you'll have those back and forth moments. I'm sure that will occur just in the nature of the personalities and the intensity of the contrast and combativeness, frankly, of both of the personalities. As much talk as there is about Trump liking to mix it up, Hillary Clinton likes to mix it up.
Oh, yes, she does.
So, and you saw that even when she was essentially trying to pat Bernie Sanders on the head for most of the primary and just saying, Bernie's nice and it's great and I understand it and he makes some good points, because she was so far in front and the institutional inertia was so much in her direction that she didn't need to be antagonistic towards Bernie. But there were still moments where she was, because she can't help herself. And so there will be moments, I think, where the two of them are going to spar, no matter how much they go into the debate saying, I'm going to be civil, I'm not going to lose my cool, I'm not going to raise my voice, I'm going to avoid invective and ad hominem. No matter how much they tell themselves that's what they're going to do, these are two 70-year-old people who you're not going to change who they are at their essence. And in that kind of environment, with 100 million people watching and the show that it is, I just think you're not going to be able to avoid it. Yeah, by the way, just a quick aside, there's an interesting piece in The Atlantic. But Donald Trump on the trail is in Pittsburgh and so forth. But here's the interesting parallel structure. The Trump supporters take Trump seriously, not literally. So, they don't hang on his every word. They don't dissect his every word. The media take Trump literally and not seriously.
Right.
The Washington, D.C.
So when he says, I'm building a wall, Mexico's going to pay for it. The media would think, okay, really, he's going to build a wall. How is he going to make Mexico pay for it? They take him literally.
Well, I think they. I mean, I think that is literal.
Okay.
But I think that's right. I think that Trump supporters take him seriously, but not literally, where the D.C. press corps takes him literally and not seriously. That's why they obsess about the words that he uses. And frankly, to some extent, you have to hold people accountable for what they say. As a great man once said, words are the currency of politics.
Was that great man standing 2 feet away from me?
He was.
By chance. Is his name
David
Dan Proft?
Striffling? No, it's me. Yeah,
Dan
it was
Proft.
me. No, but so you do have to be held accountable for what you say. But I think that's a nice way to encapsulate the disconnect between the D.C. press corps and their lack of understanding of Trump supporters. He's directionally correct. If he doesn't always use the King's English, if he uses more name calling than I would use, if he's sometimes more insulting or more loosey-goosey than I would be, or I'm even comfortable saying my president being, he's directionally correct and she's directionally unbelievably incorrect, and that's the big difference.
Well, are you worried about him? I mean, this is his 12th debate, but his first one-on-one, and he didn't hold any mock debates over the weekend. He had Rudy Giuliani fire some rapid questions for him, and he said that he's not going to overpractice because he's concerned about lockjaw.
I've seen people prepare so much that they get up there and they get lockjaw. They can't speak.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a different kind of candidate.
That's a little extreme, but
well, that's what he said over the weekend.
There is something to over preparation.
Okay.
Because here's what you do if you over prepare. You're trying to think of what you're supposed to say rather than just offering it up. Kind of, I don't want to say not thinking, but you don't. When you play golf, if you're thinking about your swing, you're dead. Right. It's an athletic move. If in a debate, you should know and just kind of instinctively go with what where you want to go with a particular question, and then react to something else your opponent says. But it has to be in the moment. It can't be trying to remember what to say. Remembering what to say will lock you up. So lockjaw, probably not. But there's another case where you take him seriously, not literally.
Right.
And he's got a point on that in terms of over preparation. Bob and Lyle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, you're on.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think Lester Holt's in the tank for Hillary, and if you Google that exact statement, you'll get all kinds of stuff that says exactly what I just said.
Well,
and he is there. And
why is he in the tank for Hillary? How?
He's working for the news channels that are all in the tank for her.
He votes Republican. He's a Republican.
Yeah, that's what he claims. But I don't think he's going to be open-minded. What I'm afraid of is he's going to start asking questions of Trump that have no meaning or purpose, and then they're going to get sidetracked. It's just like a Bob Schieffer, narrating a debate or
Bob,
whatever.
Just let me tell you how this is going to go. Bob,
thanks for the call, Bob.
He's the moderator. Lester Holt's going to start each segment with a question for both candidates. So he can't ask one candidate one thing and another candidate be left out of the party.
And that's stupid.
That's how it goes. Well, that's the structures of this debate. It's going to consist of 6 15-minute segments, and that's how he's going to ask
So you go, but you open with the same question, and then you explore it through follow-ups. That's the point.
And then each candidate will have a chance to respond to each other's answer.
Forget the structure stuff.
I'm just saying, if he said he's going to be biased, and how can he be biased if he has the same question to both candidates?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of things here. One is, let's not preordain Lester Holt. Let's let him give him a chance. There's nothing that I've seen from Lester Holt that suggests he's going to be in the tank for anyone or he's going to be antagonistic towards anyone, including in his career. So Lester Holt is the thing I'm least worried about. Number one. Number two, the point is to extract value from the candidates. It's not to follow some antiseptic structure set forth by some central planners on a presidential debate commission. So Lester Holt should plumb the depths of the answers of both candidates on the issues. You can open with the same question to both, blah, blah, blah. That is boring.
I know, but I'm just telling you that's how the commission structured it.
And then go from there. That's how the debate should proceed, and I suspect that's how the debate will proceed. It's not going to be 90 minutes of I'm asking each candidate the same question. They're different people with different answers and different positions and different backgrounds, and that all should be explored, and I think it will be. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Yeah, my question for both of them, but specifically Hillary. Let's discuss sanctuary cities. Why are the Democrats fighting the passage of Kate's law? Do you support Kate Steinle's law? And then switching over to Donald Trump, let's talk about taxes and tax returns. Mr. Trump, what is in your tax returns that you're fearful of releasing them?
All right, thanks for the call, Bob. Robbie Mook, Hillary's campaign manager, was asked about sanctuary cities by Jake Tapper, to your point, because of the dodging and bobbing and weaving on the topic. Listen to this answer. If Hillary gives this answer, you're gosh darn right Lester Holt should follow up.
I'm not clear, though. Does she want to end sanctuary cities or not? You said that people shouldn't be coming into this country illegally, but a Clinton campaign spokeswoman last year said, quote, Hillary Clinton believes that sanctuary cities can help further public safety, and she has defended those policies going back years. Does she support sanctuary cities or not?
Well, I think that's too narrow a view of this situation. We need comprehensive immigration reform, and part of comprehensive immigration reform is making sure that law enforcement has the tools to find these violent criminals and get them out of the country, and that for people who do not have legal status right now, that we put them on that path to citizenship.
Yeah, if Hillary gives anything along the lines of that Mook answer, then you're going to see about the 30 minutes to follow of nothing but immigration talk from Donald Trump.
Here, the first presidential debate, tonight at 8.
She's got a temperament of a loser.
Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning starting at 5.
He is trying to scam America.
On AM 560. The Answer.
And another rule, Mr. Prof, the audience members have been told not to cheer or boo or applaud.
And that always stops them.
Yeah, Mark Cuban will start the wave. Today, we're going to have more clouds and sun, windy, cooler, a lot cooler than we're used to, a high only in the mid-60s. And tonight, clear and cool, low of 50 degrees. And then tomorrow, pretty much more the same, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 65. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. And Dan, Heaton's inbound delay started Church Street. 32 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound it's an hour. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53. The Stevenson is 55 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. The southbound delay in the tri-state from 137 to 176. Northbound very slow from Halstead to before Dixie Highway with crash in the right lane. And from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan totally slow this morning, mainly from Naperville Road to 355 and 83 to the tri-state. The Veterans Memorial now jamming up Alton most of the way to Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything is going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy's certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation, so you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian and Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian and Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian and Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian and Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian and Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so this is great. Apparently, the Daily Show still exists.
Yeah, it's still on, Dan.
Yeah, they got some, the dopey host, Noah something or other.
Whatever your name is, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And before we get there, this case of fatal shooting in Washington State, Burlington, Washington, where the suspect
is
who's
not
in custody,
Latino.
Turkish-born. They have not ruled out terrorism. They have not ruled it in either, but he's a Turkish-born 20-year-old who shot and killed 5 people at this Cascade Mall in Burlington, Washington. He's going to be arraigned today.
Shot him at the cosmetic counter in Macy's with a rifle.
And we've got Lieutenant Mike Hawley with the Island County Sheriff's Office, who detailed how the individual apparently responsible for those shootings was detained, arrested on Friday.
I saw an individual walking northbound on the sidewalk, and I instantly recognized that is the person I had just viewed on my computer. I did an abrupt U-turn, hit my lights, pulled my gun, and myself and Reserve Deputy Eric Grombaugh took the individual into custody.
Mm-hmm. So that's how it actually works when you're trying to stop a violent criminal at minimum, perhaps a terrorist as well. We'll find out as that investigation proceeds. So back to
Did you look at his Facebook postings?
No.
He had different weapons in every single Facebook post. He was a grocery bagger, and so really people said he was, kept to himself, but they have no idea if
kept
he was
to himself. He's an honor student.
No, they didn't say he was an honor student, but
see something, say something, or not. So the Daily Show, after the St. Cloud mall attack,
that was awful.
9 people stabbed.
Luckily, nobody died.
Before that, Somali-born terrorist was shot and killed by an off-duty part-time police officer.
After he was yelling Allah and asking people if they're Muslim before he stabbed him.
So there's a guy who owns an ice cream shop around St. Cloud, Minnesota, who put up on his sign, "Muslims get out." And the Daily Show took out after this guy to make fun of him and, do the usual thing that the Daily Show would do. But then there was this, as he continued. Noah, this host of the Daily Show that nobody watches, he continued the argument against this guy from St. Cloud, Minnesota, with a sign saying this.
You know what's also strange is this man genuinely thought people who go around blowing people up would be stopped by a sign? You realize you're talking to terrorists, not vampires. They don't need to be invited in. Right? Or maybe he's onto something, because if you think about it, we've never tried that.
Yeah.
We've never actually tried to repel terrorists with signs. Yeah. Maybe that's all the airports need, is a sign that says no terrorists. Yeah, and then guys are going to be walking going, I was going to blow up the airport, but the rules are rules. They said they can't come in. They said they can't come in.
It's also funny, isn't it? I'm sorry, Mr. Noah, you just made the case against gun-free zones that the liberals support. You just made the case against all of those silly stickers I see in downtown Chicago and everywhere else where there's right to carry with a gun and the
red
circle with the line through it. Signs not going to stop violent criminals. No kidding. Welcome to the party, pal.
You know what's also strange is
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560. The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, some breaking news, another possible mall shooting, this time in Southwest Houston.
And we'll return to debate preview with James Toronto from the Wall Street Journal at 7:37.
And later, a student from Hinsdale Central has a bone to pick with the Dan and Amy show. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, there are reports of that active shooter situation this morning in Houston. At least 7 may have been hurt. That according to television station KTRK. Houston police say the situation began in a shopping center and spilled out. And again, we're still assembling details on that breaking story. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump gearing up for an important first presidential debate tonight. Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook on NBC's Today Show with a preview.
We're asking from Donald Trump is that he stick with the facts, that he give clear plans, and that he have a command of the issues. That's how we think that the candidates should be judged. That's how they've been judged in the past.
Primetime debate moderated by Lester Holt, heard right here on AM 560. Joe Walsh begins the pregame at 5. Postgame with Bruce Dumont, Mike Gallagher, and Lee Elder. Sports World Morning, 2 losses. Golf great Arnold Palmer died Sunday at a Pittsburgh hospital. He was 87. And baseball player, young man, Jose Fernandez of the Florida Marlins, killed with 2 others early Sunday. He was 24. Jury selection process in the federal death penalty trial of Dylan Roof is set to begin today. Roof is accused of shooting and killing 9 black worshipers at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. School is canceled today in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Thousands evacuated. Flooding threatens the state's second largest city. Investigation continues after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. A Chicago man paroled last year for a 2013 armed robbery is charged with killing 2 acquaintances earlier this year. Over the weekend, Marquise Holloway faced 2 counts of first-degree murder tied to the February 14 shooting deaths of 2 others. Chicago sports, White Sox over Cleveland 3-0, Cubs over St. Louis 3-1, NFL 0-3, Bears fall to Dallas 31-17. The news, a service of Staples with great deals on everything you need printed for your business. Now get 20% back in rewards on all color printing, brochures, flyers, even signs, printed same or next day. Ends 10/29. Exclusions apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Image One, the Heartland Institute, and by The Range at 355.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1 out of every 5 adults over age 64 is still working. The number of Americans working past the traditional age of retirement has nearly doubled since the 1980s. While some attribute this statistic to healthier lifestyles and longevity, others simply cannot afford to retire. It's never too early to start planning for retirement. The best way to ensure financial security is to consult with a 401k or a financial advisor today. If you're a small or mid-sized business looking to offer an affordable retirement program to their employees, contact Tandem HR today. TandemHR.com. That's TandemHR.com.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein. Heard Sunday afternoons at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is powered by Tandem HR.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
7:38, check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, we're looking at 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's an hour. The Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound, 27. The Ike, an hour. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, 53 minutes. The Stevenson, 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 42. The Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound. So the Washington to 176. Northbound, delays are from Holstead to before Dixie Highway. Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. And Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic is a service of CNN's live coverage of the presidential debate. It's the most anticipated event of the 2016 race. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump go head-to-head for the first time on the same stage. Don't miss the first presidential debate. Special live coverage starts today at 3 on CNN. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds give way to sunshine today, windy and cooler, high 67, clear and 50 overnight. Currently, we have 59. Next news at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So a couple more newspaper endorsements came out over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
I don't think Donald Trump is going to get a single newspaper endorsement, and I think that probably suits him just fine. I think that probably fits his narrative just fine. New York Times, you just dismiss that out of hand. But even the Cincinnati Enquirer, like the Star Telegram in Dallas, who have been endorsing Republican presidential candidates for the last 100 years and are endorsing Hillary Clinton, the Cincinnati Enquirer writing over the weekend that Trump, despite all his bluster about wanting to make America great again, has exploited and expanded our internal divisions. And Clinton's arrogance and unwillingness to admit wrongdoing have made her a divisive and distrusted figure as well. And they give the nod to Hillary Clinton, apparently, who is, I guess, marginally more calm and thoughtful and more of a leader than is Donald Trump in the Enquirer's estimation. But to me, even these Republican leading editorial boards, and I just say leaning, it all goes to Donald Trump's narrative about the elites in media and academia and business and politics. I know them all. They're even worse than you think, as Victor Davis Hanson has offered in terms of his formulation. And this is just more evidence of it, so dismiss them out of hand. And frankly, based on how he's doing in Ohio right now, it seems like a lot of people are dismissing them right out of hand. For more on this in advance of tonight's debate, we're happy to be joined by our friend James Taranto, he of the Wall Street Journal editorial board, speaking of editorial boards, and of course, the author of the very popular and must-read Best of the Web column. James, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So your expectations, desires, hopes, dreams for tonight's debate?
Well, in a way, the biggest test is on Lester Holt, who has come under enormous pressure from Democrats and journalists, but I repeat myself, to basically side with Mrs. Clinton. And it's the most extraordinary thing that I've ever seen with one of these debates. Normally, it's understood that the moderator is a referee, that he makes sure that both candidates stay within their allotted times. And basically, the purpose of the debate is to allow the candidates to talk. But Mrs. Clinton's campaign manager was actually out over the weekend basically saying she can't handle this on her own. Donald Trump is such a strong debater. It's not exactly how he put it, but he said Donald Trump has such a strong personality, essentially, that she needs help.
So it sounded like they're going to gang up on the only woman in the room.
No. We're talking about Lester. Their calls are for Holt and Mrs. Clinton to gang up on Trump.
Yes, right. And Mook, Robbie Mook, saying over the weekend, you don't lower the bar for Donald Trump. He has to be held to the impossibly high standard that Hillary Clinton is held to. So it's also this kind of idea that
what he's talking about is lowering the bar for Hillary Clinton. He's saying Hillary Clinton can't handle going onto the debate stage on her own and making her own case the way every other presidential candidate has since 1960. And so she needs help from the moderator.
Well, right. But yes, but they're doing it from a couple of different angles to get to the same place. The other piece of this is suggesting that Donald Trump has to be held to account for his answers in a way that he hasn't to present. You can't let him get away with saying that something that's non-responsive or factually untrue. That's the other case that the Clinton camp is lobbying the D.C. press corps over the weekend.
Right, and we've seen that kind of thinking has had a great deal of effect in the press. I mean, over the weekend, several newspapers did these pieces in which they recounted what they called Donald Trump's lies over the past week, and they actually called them lies. And, some of them were just nonsensical, like Politico had one where Trump said, "We've never seen an evil like ISIS before." And Politico said, well, it's difficult to evaluate evils, but there have been other evils that have killed more people than ISIS.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous.
This is just absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And it's because journalists have decided, many journalists have decided that they're so threatened by a Trump presidency that some have called it a national emergency or a civic emergency, that they've decided to give up on journalism as it's been traditionally practiced throughout the post-war era and get into the business of propaganda. I don't think that's going to hurt Trump, by the way, because American journalists are not trained in the art of propaganda, and so they do it in a very crude way.
Well, and, so I also don't think Lester Holt is going to go all Jorge Ramos on Trump tonight. But if he does, the other thing is that Trump is not Mitt Romney. Trump, as he demonstrated in the primary, is not going to just sit back and allow Lester Holt to pile on if he perceives that's what he's doing.
Well, yes, there's that. And also, the only precedent for this was Candy Crowley's quote-unquote fact-checking something that Romney said during, I forget whether it was the second or the third debate last time. Well, I think that Crowley there was not trying to tilt things in Obama's favor. I think that she actually just thought she was being helpful. She apparently had been tipped off on this in advance by the Obama team in an email exchange some weeks earlier. So she happened to know the Obama team's position on this. I don't think she quite knew what she was doing when she heard Romney that way. But yeah, the main thing was Romney wasn't prepared for it because that wasn't how moderators typically acted. So he was completely thrown for a loop. That's not going to happen with Trump. Trump is ready if Holt does decide to behave in an adversarial manner. I suspect he's not going to because there's really nothing in it for him either way. If he plays the traditional professional role, he's going to get beaten up by his friends in the media and on the left for letting Trump get away with it. But even if he doesn't, if Trump gets the better of him and Hillary, which I think he very well could do if it turns into a 2-on-1, because it's going to look unfair to Trump. If Trump gets the better of that exchange, then Holt will be faulted for not being vicious enough. It's something of a no-win for him, unless Trump just self-destructs somehow.
Do you think, considering what happened on Friday with another email dump, that her emails are going to be brought up during this debate tonight?
Well, I should hope so. And, I mean, it just amazes me what was in this email dump. We learned that I think it was 5 of Mrs. Clinton's aides had been given immunity. At least 2 of them were then allowed to represent her as her lawyers when she was questioned by the FBI. What kind of investigator grants underlings immunity and then doesn't prosecute the big dog? It makes no sense whatsoever. And then you mentioned in the intro the New York Times endorsement of Mrs. Clinton, which said, "Oh, her email scandal now looks like something for the help desk." I mean, it's just amazing what
laughable.
What the political class is willing to overlook because they see Trump as such a great threat.
Now, on the Trump side, I mean, he's rolling into this first debate with a lot of momentum that has been built up over the last several weeks, partly because of what he's done to right his campaign ship, but also, I would suggest, just kind of events beyond his control throughout the world, like riots in Charlotte and terrorist attacks on the homeland. And then on Friday...
Yeah, you notice, by the way, within the space of a week, we had a bombing in Chelsea and riots in Charlotte. Chelsea and Charlotte are the names of Hillary Clinton's daughter and granddaughter. It's like fate doesn't want her to win.
It's Chelsea. You're right. I never thought of. I thought of the Chelsea one, but not the daughter, Charlotte. Nice.
It says you get the unique insights from Toronto. There's no question. That's good. Well, also on Friday, though, just in terms of what Trump is doing around things that he can control his campaign, he received and accepted the endorsement of Ted Cruz. He also released an expanded list of possible Supreme Court picks, and then committed that his nominees would come from this now completed list that he has presented publicly. What did you make of both of those events in terms of continuing to build the momentum going into tonight?
Well, I think the Cruz thing probably helps Trump marginally. I guess I'm not quite sure how many people were looking to Cruz for guidance here.
Right.
Cruz has a way of making everything he does look like a political calculation.
Yeah.
I think he took more criticism for this, even from people who thought the last political calculation he made was wrong when he rather ostentatiously declined to endorse. The Supreme Court pledge, that's basically a reiteration of what he pledged before when he made the list of the first 11. I think that's meant to reassure Republicans who may be wavering, may be uncertain, and it's not going to reassure all of the Never Trumps because some of them are really just absolutely dead set. But I've noticed among my readers that some of the Never Trumps are coming around to Trump. I had one email me late last week and said, "I'm voting for Trump, and the reason is law and order." And this was a fellow who last spring had told me if it were Trump versus Mrs. Clinton, he would vote for Mrs. Clinton.
Yeah. Well, and for those that are wavering, those conservatives, this Supreme Court is the best argument that Trump has to them. And so not a bad idea to resuscitate it. He is James Taranto, Wall Street Journal editorial board, the must-read column, best of the web. James, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Tonight at 8, Trump and Hillary debate the issues. Tomorrow morning, you debate who won with Dan and Amy, starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, a student from Hinsdale Central has a bone to pick with this morning show. But first, here's your forecasters. Some clouds, some sunshine, a high mix of that today. A high breeze, wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour. Cooler, a high of 67. Tonight, a low of 50 degrees. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy. Pretty much more of the same, a high of 65. Any normalities on the roadway? Here's the trouble spots. Here with the answers, Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Normally heavy on the inbound Kennedy. 57 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The express lanes only save 2 or 3 minutes. That's an hour to the airport. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 27. Crash at Toohey on the left shoulder. The Eisenhower, an hour. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. The Stevenson, an hour. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Bryant, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown Lakeshore Drive. Now jammed southbound Montrose to North Avenue. Then slow 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State slow 132 to 176. Northbound there delays. Thornton Cordy before Dixie Highway with a crash in the right lane. Then Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue Curve. Fairly normal delays, heavy ones on the other tollways. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
You've saved for retirement but aren't sure what to do with your savings. You need to make it work for you and make it last. The Alpha Wealth Group has cutting-edge programs designed to help you identify the challenges surrounding retirement. They'll help you create a clear picture and roadmap for your future, how to maintain your present standard of living and make your money last. So don't wait until you're left without options. Get answers you need in a free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement. This invaluable report is from Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group here in Chicago. Tom is the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays at 9 a.m. on AM 560 for the past 8 years, and has been featured in Fortune and on Fox Business. Are you ready to get serious about your retirement? Call the Alpha Wealth Group now for your free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement, at 800-748-3185. That's 800-748-3185. Or visit alphawealthgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So last week we talked about Hinsdale Central, well-heeled Hinsdale, the nouveau riche and the deep thinkers over there. By the way, Hinsdale Central, the devil's advocate, is the name of the publication where the story was posted that I referenced regarding the changes they're making to their homecoming court to accommodate non-binary students.
Right, non-binary students.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you want to be a king or nominated as king and you're a girl, you can do so.
By the way, devils, shouldn't that nickname be changed in this this haven of PC?
It's true.
Devil. Oh my gosh. That implies like good and evil. That implies God and Satan. That implies heaven and hell. I'm calling on Hinsdale Central to remove this offensive nickname immediately, just as they've removed gender from the school. Got an email from Zach Walls, W-O-L-S. Not speaking for the publication, but
no, he's a writer for their online newspaper.
Yeah, the devil's advocate. Devil.
I'm offended. I need a safe space now.
I just wanted to contact you to say how much I loved your piece on the alternate gender homecoming court changes being made at my school. I especially like the part where you read a story posted on our website, word for word, without citing us or giving us credit. There you go, Zach. You got all the credit in the world. Own it, baby.
That was neat.
Yeah, I think that's called sarcasm.
Yes,
I'm glad they're learning. They're teaching that at Hinsdale Central. I'm impressed. It's so refreshing to hear an old and outdated perspective that will surely be remembered as bigoted. You're a part of history.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, they don't teach, they don't teach kind of proper grammar because there's a lot of grammatical errors here. And when you write with exclamation points and other punctuation of that sort, it's hysteria. I can't make my point in a reasonable way, so I have to add like exclamation points and emojis and other things for children. Another thing I loved about your piece was the part where you blatantly insulted minors for their stance on an issue at the school.
You go.
Exclamation point. That's class. Exclamation point. Stick it to those students. Who are they to think they're entitled to an opinion? No, they're entitled to opinion. Did I say you can't have an opinion?
He's being sarcastic. Who are they to think they're entitled to an opinion?
No, I'm aware of that. Did anybody say that people are not entitled to an opinion? Zach, see, when you learn to converse in the adult world, you'll understand that I have an opinion that differs with your opinion, but that does not preclude either opinion. Do you see how that works? You're right that families are, all caps, again, bad writer, undermining the foundation of their success in life, even though most of the parents here more than likely did not grow up in Hinsdale. They desperately need to keep tradition. If we move to a way of an alternate gender accepting society, all hell will break loose, exclamation point. There will be riots in the streets, exclamation point. Children will die, exclamation point. What's next? Keep up the great work, guys, exclamation point. Stick it to those students, exclamation point. Best regards, Zach Walls. I'm going to cede my time to Norm MacDonald, who did a podcast with Stephen Merchant, where he offered this.
I was just in a club, and I was talking about transgender, and I said, I remember when Bruce Jenner, when he won the decathlon, someone said, she. So I had to go, oh yeah, she won the decathlon.
Oh, I see. But when he was a he when he ran the decathlon?
No, he was always a she.
Oh, he was always a she.
So a woman won the decathlon in 1976.
Unbeknownst to anyone. And McDonald went on to say, this is just a way, using terms like cisgender, of making normal people feel like they're not normal. So there you go, Zach. That one's for you.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Imagine the outcry if employers threatened to fire employees unless they worked weekends without pay. We would hear cries of coercion and exploitation. Yet when the government actually forces us to work without pay, not for a weekend, but for months out of each year in order to fund the welfare checks of others, this is praised as an achievement. Time is our most precious resource, and most of us invest a third or more of it into productive work so that we can support our lives and make our hopes and dreams a reality. Every penny we earn represents some irreplaceable part of our life, and every penny the government takes from us represents a moment stolen from our life. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They both called each other unfit to be president. Well, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton say it again tonight face-to-face. They'll debate for the first time in 12 hours.
Clinton's top aides are working the moderator and the media to say there should be no double standard. We've heard the Clinton campaign pushing for real-time fact-checking of Donald Trump.
Fox's Mike Emanuel, what will the Republican strategy be?
What they don't want to do is they don't want to fill Donald Trump's head with too many facts and figures that he might not be able to pull out of his, at the drop of a hat. What they would rather do is just have him focus on some broad ideas he is.
Fox's John Roberts at Hofstra University in New York, the site of tonight's debate. Gunfire this morning in Houston, Texas. 6 people taken to hospitals. It's unclear how badly wounded they are. Houston police tweeted a short time ago they shot the suspected gunman. No report on his condition. They're worried about rising rivers in Iowa. Some areas have already flooded. He's in Butler County.
It's terrible. I don't even know if it's going to get as worse as 2008. From what I hear, people say that it might.
Well, that was a record flood then. Thousands have been urged to evacuate in Cedar Rapids, where schools are closed through Wednesday. TV helped make him a star in sports. Golf legend Arnold Palmer has died. Fox's Jared Max has more live.
Dave, a pro career that spanned more than 5 decades, Arnold Palmer won 62 PGA events, including 7 major titles, the Masters 4 times, the British Open twice, the U.S. Open once. Career earning $7 million, around 1/50th the amount Palmer is reported to have earned off the course. He's considered the father of modern-day sports marketing. 1 year ago, the Arnold Palmer beverage hit $200 million in annual sales. Palmer designed golf courses. He had his own line of clothing and wines. Nicknamed the King, Arnold Palmer died of complications from heart problems. He was 87. Dave?
Jared Jose Fernandez being mourned in Miami. The Marlins pitcher was 24 years old, killed in a boating accident with 2 friends. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine. We have 61 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. No one in custody following a shooting in Joliet that killed a woman, injured her brother, and a 4-year-old girl. Police say Dynasty Tillman and her sibling were found shot last night outside a vehicle near Washington and Richard. The child was discovered inside the car with a graze wound. An investigation is underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the University of Illinois campus in Champaign. Police say George Korchev and 3 others were found shot early yesterday in the 300 block of East Green Street. A man has died after being shot near Millennium Park, one of Chicago's most popular tourist destinations. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says the 54-year-old died of his injuries on Sunday. A suspected shooter is being questioned. Authorities say nothing suspicious was found following a bomb threat at 2 schools over the weekend in Long Grove. Someone called early Saturday, according to the Lake County Sheriffs, wanting to blow up Country Meadows Elementary School and Woodlawn Middle School. Searches of each building turned up nothing. Officials say a man has died after he was pulled from Lake Michigan on Chicago's far north side. Authorities say the victim was recovered from the water by a kayaker near Loyola University. He was taken to the hospital nearby where he was pronounced dead. White Sox over Cleveland 3-0. Cubs beat St. Louis 3-1. David Ross homered and teamed with John Lester for another scoreless performance. NFL, Bears end the weekend with a 31-17 loss to the Boys. The news, the service of Burger King's breakfast. What's the best way to have breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. Light flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage or delicious thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant $4. Only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes back
Fox
to the footage.
Business Network
the footage
and a service of
will...
Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Pfizer has decided not to split into 2 separately traded companies. The drug company says it researched and decided each unit, Innovative Health and Essential Health, are better as part of Pfizer. The company says both will remain separately managed. 2 former top executives of Thornburg Mortgage of Santa Fe are now facing only 1 charge related to the financial crisis. The firm's former CEO Larry Gladstone and former Chief Financial Officer Clarence Simmons had been accused by the SEC of trying to hide the company's financial problems back in 2007. The SEC is dropping 3 civil fraud claims. German chemical company Lanxess is buying Chemtura of Philadelphia. It's a deal worth $2.7 billion. The Dow was down 131 on Friday. NASDAQ dropped 13, S&P down 12. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Finally, Trump and Clinton square off face to face.
Hillary Clinton has once again demonstrated that she's really unfit for office.
In the first presidential debate of 2016.
Donald Trump owes him and the American people an apology.
Can Trump play nice?
Sit down, please.
And will Clinton have enough stamina to get through the night?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
There's no telling what will happen. Trump, Clinton, round one. And you can listen to it right here. Tonight, coverage begins at 8, right after the Joe Walsh Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
8:07. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start around 2:08, 28 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, out on 33. The Kennedy is an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 33 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express, out on 50 to the airport, the Eisenhower. Now an hour and 15 minutes either way between Thorndale and downtown. The Stevenson, 55 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, out on 45. Ryan is 30 minutes from 95th to the Loop, Tri-State southbound. It's slow 132 to 137. Northbound to the Bishop Ford and before Dixie Highway with a crash now on the right shoulder, then 95th to 31st and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. But Adams tollway delays, Randall to 31 and Bussy to Lee. Veterans Royal heavy. Boughton most of the way to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Holly Holdren.
Clouds giving way to sunshine today, windy and cooler with a high of 67. Clear and cool tonight, low 50. Then tomorrow will be mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 65. Passing shower or two tomorrow night, low 50. I'm Holly Holdren on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 59 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fly By Night with Ken Severa. Heard Saturday evenings at midnight here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes back to the footage. The footage itself will not create in anyone's mind absolute certainty as to what this case represents and what the outcome should be.
Jennifer Flowers will not be attending the debate tomorrow night.
I've seen people prepare so much that they get up there and they get locked to or they can't speak.
Does she support sanctuary cities or not?
Well, I think that's too narrow a view of this situation.
I think it's a problem. Anybody who disrespects this country and the flag, if they don't like the country, they don't like our flag, get the hell out.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What up, Dan and Amy? It's the Super Bowl day for politics, and we're going to discuss that. But also over the weekend, We had the release of the dash cam and body cam videos with respect to the police-involved shooting in Charlotte.
And also the wife's video that she took on her cell phone.
Correct. That was also provided NBC News, which was entered into the public domain for discussion as well. Here's Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Chief Kerr Putney discussing what the video offers and what it doesn't offer.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes back to the footage. The footage itself will not create in anyone's mind absolute certainty as to what this case represents and what the outcome should be. The footage only supports all of the other information, physical evidence, the statements from witnesses and officers, and all of the other information, scientific and physical, that create the entire picture. So the video footage is insufficient. I've been very clear.
Just remind us
and the video footage may be insufficient, but that doesn't mean that Chief Putney's position on what was recovered at the scene changed.
But again, there's another investigation ongoing. And yes, based on the totality of what we see, he absolutely was in possession of a handgun.
And the ABC affiliate in Charlotte, North Carolina, has an excellent source within the police department who said on that gun they found a fingerprint, his DNA, and also blood on the weapon. That was his weapon. A weapon that he shouldn't have had because he was a convicted felon.
Correct. Served 7 years in prison. To discuss this topic and the general state of culture with respect to law enforcement and safety in our urban centers, as well as do a little preview of tonight's debate with us, we're happy to be joined by our friend. He is Colonel Alan West, of course, former Florida congressman, now the executive director and chairman of the board for the National Center for Policy Analysis in Texas. Colonel West, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, it's always good to be with you. Good morning.
Morning. And so your reaction to the developments in Charlotte and what you understand to be the kind of facts as we know them, given the nature of the back and forth over racial politics, essentially.
Well, the first thing is I'm not a forensic examiner, and I'm not there to look at the evidence, but I will tell you my concern is that, you know, it comes down to the rule of law versus mob rule. It comes down to whether or not we are going to allow the public domain to be the ones that are directing and guiding these investigations. We saw that happen in Ferguson. We saw that happen in Baltimore. We saw it happen in Milwaukee. It's very interesting that when the rule of law and the process and procedures work, as you saw in South Carolina with the police officer who shot the black man running away several times in the back, he's probably going to end up getting the needle down there because he was in the wrong. Just the same as the police officer in Tulsa has been charged with, I believe, manslaughter, first-degree manslaughter.
Right.
So we need to allow the people on the ground to have the opportunity to investigate and go through their processes and not have, you know, it be dictated by media or, like I said, the mob rule. And what is very disconcerting for me is I think between 60 to 70% of the protesters that were arrested in North Carolina were not from Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and some were not even from the state of North Carolina. And no one is talking about the protester that was shot, I think it was day 2, by another one of the protesters. So, you know, this cherry picking, what people want to talk about in the public domain, really is more political than anything else. All lives do matter. And I don't know how many shootings occurred in Chicago this past weekend, but once again, we don't talk about those instances in the black community.
No, and the police shootings, I think, will be front and center in tonight's presidential debate. How do you think each candidate is going to handle that question and the issue at hand?
Well, I think you have to, once again, talk about, you know, supporting our law enforcement, supporting the rule of law, and making sure that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And when we continue to have people such as Hillary Clinton or others, and it's a very interesting hypocrisy. When it's a case of Islamic terrorism, we're told we can't rush to judgment, we can't be impetuous, but yet when there's something that involves the police, Clinton, who got out on the Steve Harvey radio show, immediately started talking about how she needed to go and lecture and talk to white people. I didn't know that the black community had elected Hillary Clinton as our ambassador.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's nice. She's the white people whisperer, so it's very helpful for us to understand the world through her view. And the other thing that happens in these when these incidents occur is it's used as a jumping off point to prosecute all kinds of other grievances, right? So just case in point, this op-ed in the New York Times over the weekend by William Barber, who's a reverend down in Charlotte, and he's also the local head of the NAACP chapter there. And he writes in part, anyone who's concerned about violence in Charlotte should note that no one declared a state of emergency when the schools were resegregated, creating a school-to-prison pipeline for thousands of poor African-American children. Few voiced outrage over the damage caused when 500,000 North Carolinians were denied health insurance because the legislature refused to expand Medicaid, and so on and so on. And, I mean, I guess it's just it's interesting to me on two fronts. One is that you use a police shooting. Now, you're no longer interested in talking about that. Now you want to talk about all these other kind of public policy challenges with respect to our urban centers. And then, of course, the other thing is that the policies, the impact of the policies that you're decrying were all policies supported by the NAACP.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Reverend Barber, as we well know, is an individual who made some very disparaging remarks about Senator Tim Scott. And also, when you look at North Carolina, it's a battleground state. And so I think that's why you have a lot of this attention there. These urban centers have been run by Democrat, liberal, progressive policies. It's very interesting that this reverend does not want to talk about, school choice, school vouchers, charter schools. Barack Obama was the first black president who also canceled the D.C. school voucher program while he sends his kids to the exclusive Sidwell Friends.
Yep.
And then as far as Medicaid expansion, we should be seeking to get people off of Medicaid, because what that means is that we're just expanding the poverty roll. So I think that the people in North Carolina, instead of being on the hook with more unfunded mandates and liabilities that come down from the federal government, which is really what will end up happening with the expansion of Medicaid, they should be looking at economic opportunities and building the economic growth within that state of North Carolina and all across the United States of America, so that we can get people off the poverty rolls, which we have, of course, seen expanded, as well as food stamp rolls under the presidency of Barack Obama.
We're talking to Colonel Alan West. Now, for those of you who didn't know, the executive director and chairman of the board for the National Center for Policy Analysis in Texas.
And he's also going to be our keynote speaker at our Freedom Summit Chicago.
Of course he is. And we're going to be happy to have him. That's October 29th.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, freedomsummitchicago.com to buy your tickets.
Let me just ask you another question, Colonel West, per your expertise. If you were Donald Trump, how would you tackle national security related issues, particularly homeland security, against the backdrop of the Chelsea bomber, the stabbing in St. Cloud, what may be a terrorist attack in Burlington, Washington over the weekend? We have another shooting today in southwestern Houston where a suspect has now been shot after opening fire, police saying as many as 7 injured. How would you tackle the homeland security part of the national security discussion?
Well, I would, just take a look at what has happened across the ocean in Germany, where they did not, Angela Merkel did not respect the sovereignty of Germany, opened borders, and allowed, all of these refugees to come in without proper vetting. And look at what she's dealing with. And when you talk about what happened in St. Cloud, Minnesota, I think about the Somali refugee resettlement program that has spawned, this terrorist sanctuary that we have up there. And you look at the policies of the President of the United States of America when we have these, horrific terrorist attacks such as San Bernardino, such as Orlando, Fort Hood, and it's always obfuscation. It's always denial. It's always lying. It's always about the ideological agenda of gun control. Or when we look overseas with, the complete withdrawal of our forces from Iraq, what have been the second and third order ramifications and effects of that? We created a vacuum. That vacuum was filled by a horrific terrorist enemy, a savage and barbaric entity called ISIS. And then as well, mishandling global affairs, foreign policy relations. We're strengthening Iran. We have emboldened and empowered Russia. You see a China that is resurgent across the Pacific, and then you see a North Korea with their abject belligerence whatsoever. And I think that it's very important that you tie that back to the person who was Barack Obama's first Secretary of State, her reset button, her destabilization of Libya, the fact that she would not even declare a terrorist organization like Boko Haram a terrorist organization, or the Muslim Brotherhood. So I think it's going to be very hard for Hillary Clinton to try to distance herself from these domestic and foreign policy and national security failures.
I think we should have a tag team, and Donald Trump should be able to tag you in at any point during the debate.
Like Mr. Wrestling #1 and
Yeah, exactly.
#2 back in the day.
Yeah, right.
You could be in the
Absolutely.
corner.
You could wear tights and an outfit and the whole thing. It'd be
I
fun.
don't think we want to see Donald Trump in tights. He's a little overweight.
All right, he is Colonel Alan West. Again, he's the executive director and chairman of the board of the National Center for Policy Analysis, and he's going to be our guest in Chicago in the not-too-distant future before the election.
Yes, he will be in Chicago for Freedom Summit, which is coming back to Chicago on Saturday, October 29th, happening at the Chicago Westin, Northwest, and Itasca. And to get tickets to see Colonel Alan West and others, go to freedomsummitchicago.com. We'll see you October 29th.
Thanks for joining us, Colonel West. Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much,
it.
Dan and Amy. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Sunshine right now. It is breezy and a lot cooler than we are used to. Definitely a high today of 67 degrees, 61 degrees right now at O'Hare. Tonight, a low of 50. Haven't seen that in a while. And tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy, a high of 65. Let's get straight to it. A busy man this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, nothing too cool about the traffic on the inbound Eisenhower. It is an hour and 20 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. The delay started North Avenue, 58 minutes from Mannheim. And outbound rough, too, an hour and 6 minutes to get from downtown to Thorndale. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 35. The Kennedy holding at 55 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45. There's crash at Kimball in the two left lanes. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound slow, Eau Plaine to 60. Northbound, 95th to 31st, and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Slow on the Veterans Memorial from Boughton most of the way to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Chicago's west side, Damon, still closed between Chicago Avenue and Augusta with police activity. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors. So now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
AM 560, The Answer. See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Dan and Amy, so how are you watching the Super Bowl tonight?
Well, I was going to try and form a little impromptu block party because I want to know what the liberal ladies think. I want to see their reactions to Donald Trump's statements and see if their questions were answered and see what they're concerned about. So I have an email out, and I'm hoping to make that happen. What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'd like to watch this in the confines of comfort with a mature libation and a cigar. And there's a couple places to do that, so I'm hopeful to do that. But I can't be, distracted by a lot of chatter around
so
me. This to me should be like going to a movie theater where you go to watch and everybody shuts up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so that I can live tweet.
Who's shutting up are members of the audience tonight. They're apparently have been told they can't cheer or boo, and clapping has to be at a minimum.
Oh, let me tell you something. Tell
me how long that's going to last.
Somebody once told me that some people cheer, some people boo. That's life. What are you going to do? Don't worry about the cheering. Don't worry about the booing.
Well, I'm just saying if Trump will be effective because he's used to working a crowd and having crowd reaction and participation. I mean, that's what makes him Donald Trump, and that is what makes his campaign different.
Well, maybe. I mean, although, Trump has been booed before, and he takes it pretty much in stride.
Yeah, he turns it into a comical event. But he's, I'm really worried about Donald Trump. I don't want him to embarrass himself.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, I hope it doesn't happen. For the sake of the party and for the sake of him.
You just never know. I mean, the two of them.
This is his first one-on-one, Dan. I mean, last time he had 15 people with him.
Could be rolling around on the ground within the first 15 minutes. I mean, anything is possible. They could be
playing so nice that it's too nice.
There's a reason 100 million people are going to watch this debate, and it's not because they're the most likable people in the world. The public opinion surveys tell us that. It's because of the unknown. Right. It's because there is so much that swirls around both of them. And there is such antagonism in the country generally, people very polarized politically, despite the uniter in chief that we have as President of the United States for the last 7 years. And so I think there is really this kind of anything can happen feel for this debate, which makes it interesting because you don't know how it ends.
What's the over-under in Vegas on Hillary collapsing or having a coughing fit? Because they're not going to cut away. If she's coughing, they're not going to take, what do they call it, medical cutaways? That's how they're describing it. For physical ailments, if she goes in a coughing fit or she has to, 90 minutes is a long time to stand for elderly people. I mean, they're both about 70. That's a long time.
Well, hopefully
no bathroom break and you can't sit down.
Hopefully they're doing a little power walking, a little flywheeling.
Yeah, right. Maybe Hillary's doing some yoga, some namaste, some chaturangas to help her.
To get physically prepared
to get on her little lectern.
The confrontation in the Thunderdome in Hofstra tonight.
Yeah, and the pregame is just crazy. I mean, the cheerleaders out, they had the volleyball team up at 4 a.m. playing volleyball with Fox and friends. I mean, because it's a good, it's free advertisement for Hofstra University.
Yeah.
Come to our school. We have great cheerleaders and a really good volleyball team.
I think all the pomp and circumstance surrounding this and the number of people that are being brought in by this debate, this confrontation, I think it actually sets up very well for Donald Trump. I really do. I mean, he is an emotional candidate. He is beyond a candidate, frankly, into a movement, as I've described for months and months now, and he's actually got commercials echoing the sentiment. And Hillary Clinton, if she thinks she can get away with just kind of the minutia of knowing heads of state and foreign diplomats from her time in government, and that's going to cast Trump in a bad light, I think she's badly mistaken. I think this is really the bar is very high for Hillary Clinton tonight. I think it's actually kind of at a place that Donald Trump can comfortably clear.
Here, the first presidential debate tonight at 8.
She's got a temperament of a loser.
Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning starting at 5
He is trying to scam America.
on AM 560. The Answer.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from Pat's kids and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian and Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian and Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian and Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian and Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian and Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
Before you invest, read the prospectus in the registration statement and other documents the issuer has filed with the SEC for more complete information about the issuer and this offering.
This is a special public announcement for investors. Have you tried to invest during an initial public offering but never got the chance because big banks and private institutions have already scooped up all the stock? Well, now there's an exciting investment opportunity where you can be in on the IPO of a game-changing digital media company listed on NASDAQ. FOTV. FOTV is a group of millennial-focused digital media companies that creates, markets, and distributes live hologram events and premium Hollywood movie content to global audiences via live streaming, virtual reality, and 360. Powered by Holograms USA cutting-edge visual technology. Featured on the Country Music Awards, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and the Coachella Music Festival. Discover a real IPO investment opportunity. Invest as little or as much as you want. Call now for your free FOTV prospectus. 800-409-2501. 800-409-2501. That's 800-409-2501.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Preview of a party at the G-Spot.
And Coach Ditka has a message for all of you taking your knees during the national anthem. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Houston police say several have been injured this morning in a shooting. Officers who arrived on the scene as it unfolded near a shopping center took aim at the suspect and fired. This woman was heading to work when the bullets started to fly.
So I was just driving down the street very slow. It's, like I said, residential neighborhood. It's probably going 20, 25. And then just my car started getting shot.
Police have yet to release any further information on the extent of the suspect's injuries, who was shot by police, or the condition of any of the victims. All eyes on politics, as we've been talking about all morning long here on AM 560, as Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump take part in the first presidential debate. Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway.
That's a problem in debates like this because people want to see a future commander-in-chief and president of the United States who is nimble and resilient and can answer questions that haven't been pre-programmed in their head.
The primetime debate will be moderated by Lester Holt of NBC and heard right here on AM 560. Beginning at 8, the pregame for us begins at 5 with Joe Walsh. The city of Charlotte no longer under a curfew put in place due to violent protest after the police killing of a black man. Jury selection is scheduled to begin later today in the federal death penalty trial of Dylan Roof. Roof, you may recall, is accused of shooting and killing 9 black worshipers at a Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. An investigation underway after a suburban Mundelein man was killed in a shooting near the Champaign campus of the University of Illinois, and no one in custody following a shooting in Joliet that killed a woman, injured her brother, and a 4-year-old child. White Sox over Cleveland 3-0. Cubs beat St. Louis 3-1. NFL, Dallas bested the Bears 31-17. The news, a service of CNN's live coverage of the presidential debate. It is the most anticipated event of the 2016 race. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump go head-to-head for the first time on the same stage. Don't miss the first presidential debate. Special live coverage begins today at 3 on CNN. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a spiral in the Clinton campaign.
Let me allow you to fully embrace how bad things are right now for the Clinton campaign with tightening polls, how good things are going for Donald Trump. It has turned in a major way. Donald Trump, once again, all of us who've raised concerns about Hillary Clinton's health are being vindicated.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on how they do business differently.
It's been 20 years, and the business has changed probably 40 times in 20 years because technology changes every year, and you have to stay with it. You have to know where it's going and prognosticate where that is, and our clients really benefit from our knowledge and our experience and the way that we're reading the roadmap. We're putting them on things that are coming out in the future, and if it's not beneficial to the client, we won't be putting them on there. And a lot of people just fly by the seat of their pants. You know, we have a director of information technology that his job is only to scout new technologies and how they can affect a small business. Every business, no matter if it's a funeral home, a manufacturer, a car dealer, whatever, we all rely on our information. And when that information isn't available, your business is shot. So our main purpose is to really do our very best to keep people up 100% of the time, to keep them backed up and make sure that they can do what they do and we can deal with the technical stuff.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros at Turnkey so you can focus on the important things of your business. Visit turnkey.pro today.
I've been taking the Balance of Nature fruits and veggie capsules for many years. What hooked me was something I wasn't expecting. I was playing golf with one of my friends, and midway through the round, he looks over at me and says, "What's going on here? You're killing me. Did you get new clubs or something?" It dawned on me that the only thing I'm doing different is taking Balance of Nature. I've been a 15 handicap golfer for a long time. 3 months after I started taking the fruits and veggies, I started dropping strokes off my handicap. Even my sons noticed I was playing better. I told them, when I started getting enough fruits and veggies in my diet, I felt better. Better concentration, better swing. When you feel better, you play better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
8:38. Let's check the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound at Elston. There's a crash in the left lane. 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy, 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound. Looking at a travel time of 53 minutes. Crash at Kimball now on the right side. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, 58 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 50 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 43. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound, still a bit tight. O'Plain to Bradley. Northbound slow. Archer to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway stop and go from the Elgin Toll to 31 and Bussey to Lee. Reagan Tollway's good. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds this morning have given way to sunshine. A windy and cooler afternoon ahead, a high near 67 and a low of 50 overnight. Currently, we have mostly sunny skies and 59 degrees. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Dan and Amy, so a very tough weekend in sport this weekend, and I'm not talking about Iowa barely beating Rutgers.
That was 14-7, please.
I'm not talking about Notre Dame losing at home to Duke.
I guess you're still happy about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how you doing, Domers? maybe Brian Kelly can do a better job recruiting at the correctional facilities for the next recruiting class. Boy, how about that Latari medal to Joe Biden? Great to see Notre Dame lose at home to Duke. All those Domers that care about football, not Catholicism, on notice. Maybe someday they can beat Duke at home. But I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about truly sad news, and that's, of course, the passing of the iconic sports figure, Arnold Palmer.
The king, yes.
And also, so a legend, and then a kid that was on his way to perhaps being a legend, but he was a great Major League Baseball player, and he was on his way to, a $200 million contract for sure, and that's Jose Fernandez, the star pitcher for the Florida Marlins, 24-year-old kid, defected from Cuba, died in a boat accident over the weekend.
Yeah, he was in a boat called Caught Looking, and he was with two of his friends. The accident happened at 3:15 a.m. Sunday a.m. They were, full throttle, according to police, and they hit rocks, a jetty, and flipped the boat over and died.
Well, and so in trying to have a nice moment in sports, we've got a new name for Comiskey Park. It used to be called Comiskey Park, and then it was renamed by President Obama Kaminsky Field because he's a big Sox fan. And then it was the Cell.
Yes, U.S. Cellular Field, but then everyone, called it the Cell.
And now it's Guaranteed Rate Field.
Yes,
and
aren't you excited about that?
I'm excited.
You love change.
I'm excited to find out what the shorthand is for Guaranteed Rate Field because that's too long a name.
Oh, yeah, you've already dubbed it something else, you and your friends, because you're a season ticket holder, Dan.
I am. I split season tickets with a buddy of mine, and I don't know. I mean,
what do you call it?
The G spot would be memorable, wouldn't it?
Oh, my gosh.
Wouldn't
and
it?
A little bit inappropriate.
Well,
explaining that to kids. Mom, why is it called the G spot?
It's because it starts with a G, and it's the spot where the Sox play. I mean, that's, on the south side, we're a little bit more loosey-goosey than the north side. Isn't that right? Scott Stephen, the president of Guaranteed Mortgage, who joins us now and is probably offended by what I've termed the ball field they're sponsoring. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So what are we thinking about with respect to the shorthand for Guaranteed Rate Field? Are you guys, your marketing department at work on that?
Well, I mean, we don't really think it's up to us. You're a fan. The fans.
There you go.
See, freedom of
it.
speech.
I like it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we suspect it'll be the rate or Great, capital GRATE.
Great Field.
But you fans, you fans will name it. I suspect Great and Rate will be more acceptable in the home.
Yeah, that's
than your previous discussion, but we'll see. The fans will choose.
Well, that's it. That's why we have you on. You're more family friendly than I am. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so how did this merger come to be? Who thought, you know what, U.S. Cellular Field, the naming rights are over. Let's take over the Cell.
Well, they called us. The White Sox, Brooks Breuer. He's one of the best, if not, I think he is the best CMO in baseball. But he called us and communicated that they were casting a very, very small net of local companies that were akin to the same kind of people they were, and that was, they're based on passion, pride, tradition, a real commitment to their customers, their fans and their communities, and that's similar to us.
So
we run our business on 10 core values. The first being, the customers first, and excellence, and delivering results and thinking big, and very similar to how they run their business. We're grinders, they're grinders. They thought they were looking for a company that was akin to their value sets, and they called us, and we met and hit it off and did a deal.
And I like that the company was founded right here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's Victor Tridelli is a huge sports fan, huge. White Sox, Bears, Bulls, Cubs, the entire and Blackhawks.
And get the backstory on the genesis of the company and its subsequent success.
Well, he is a hometown. He's a hometown success story, right? He started from nothing in 2000, and now we're the 8th largest lender in the country.
That's quick.
Employing 1,200 people in Chicago and 3,200 nationwide. And with 170 offices, 170 plus offices, and and a fantastic technology that allows the borrower, somebody looking for a purchase mortgage or a refi mortgage, the ability to use technology or look somebody face to face and get the best price and the best service.
So
he's amazing, and so to have the opportunity to put his company's name on a stadium was, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Good. So you're going to kick off your new partnership with this incredible celebration, which is this coming Saturday night. Tell us what it is and how people can buy tickets.
Yeah, so we're, this is the first of many. We're going out there with Rock and Roll Night this Saturday, where the gates are opening early at 4:30, and we're going to have 3 rock and roll bands in the concourses. And then we have Jim Cornelison singing the national anthem. The first 5,000 fans will get some really cool rock and roll hats. And we got reduced ticket prices. You can go to www.whitesox.com/rate and put in the code RATE and receive half price on tickets, on selected tickets.
Good, and then there's fireworks, yeah.
Yeah, there's a recap of the whole 2016 White Sox season and a huge rock and roll fireworks show at the end. It should be a blast. But it's the first of many. We're going to bring, we're bringing about 10,000. We're selling 10,000 tickets ourselves, guaranteed rate, and that's part of the partnership of us exposing our communities, our networks to the White Sox, and and being in a true partnership with them. So it's not just throwing your name up on a stadium.
Oh, good.
And, yeah, we want anybody who goes to the stadium to know what guaranteed rate does. That's a low price and great service. And for your purchase or refi needs. But we also want our communities to go down to a wonderful experience down at the park. And it is. And we're going to work in conjunction with them to bring new fans and expose their present fans to guaranteed rate.
Well, that's good, and it'd be nice to see the park filled more often than it is. And so does that give you then some leverage to make, personnel decisions? Can we
do some training?
We make personnel decisions around guaranteed rate.
No.
And the White Sox make personnel decisions around the White Sox.
Yeah, but you guys are doing better than the White Sox.
You know what, though? It's cool. Jerry, Jerry has been an owner for a long period of time, and he has a commitment. When we did this, he said he wants to see within the lifetime of this at least one, and up to he'd love more, but he said 1 to 3 World Series championships in the lifetime of this deal, which is 13 years with an option on the 14th.
All right.
Hey, listen, the White Sox are the only team that have brought a World Series championship in the last 100 years to the city.
That is correct.
And hopefully the Cubs will get it this year. But as it stands right now, the White Sox are the only ones that have done so. So we're supporting them, and we love that we're a part of that organization. We think they're great, and we can't wait for we can't wait till Saturday night, and then for the next 13 years.
All right, Scott Stephen, the president of Guaranteed Rate, we're holding you to that. Guaranteed 3 World Series championships in the next 13 years. You heard it there.
Great.
He and Jerry Reinsdorf have issued the edict. It's a guarantee. I love it. All right, October 1st.
Stay fans.
I will. October 1st, this Saturday, Rock and Roll Night. And again, for more information, you can go to whitesox.com/rate for half-off tickets and enjoy some rock and roll music and fireworks in addition to White Sox baseball on Saturday night.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Tonight at 8, Trump and Hillary debate the issues. Tomorrow morning, you debate who won with Dan and Amy, starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Coach Ditka has something to say to you fellas taking a knee during the national anthem. But first, here's your forecast. Sunshine, just gorgeous sunshine right now. A cool, crisp fall day, a high of 67 degrees. And then tomorrow, most of the same, but a little breezy, a high of 65. How's that inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Telemonte?
Well, Amy, it's pretty heavy. Still have significant delays from Sayre to the Burn Circle. It was 55 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound 53 minutes to the airport. There was a crash at Kimball. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 50 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, Still slow. Lawrence to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound. Heavy Plain to the Lake Forest Oasis. Northbound LaGrange Road to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow. Elmhurst Road to Lee. I'm Jim Talamonte, the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? Well, you're in luck. For this month only, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second for free, but you'll also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only one. It is the best offer ever. You know, nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it is the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. It's washable. I love that. So it removes all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. So it's a great health investment, and you will sleep better. I guarantee it, and so do they. There's a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. 2 premium MyPillows plus those 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one. Or call 800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You've always dreamed of a second home to get away to on the weekends, a place to escape, maybe a place where you can retire. That dream is closer than you ever imagined, and Turnkey Homes can help make it happen. Think of it, a getaway home in Lake Geneva, Fox Lake, Richmond, Harvard, or Woodstock. It's country living where you can leave every day behind and relax, yet still be close to everything. Check out 10 complete turnkey home and lot packages at great prices right now at turnkeyhome.com with packages from $169.9 to $199.9 and include a full basement, oversized 2-car garages, appliances, and custom color selections. Turnkey Homes has been building beautiful quality modular homes for over 30 years, and when you're ready, your dream home can be completed in around 90 days. Each Sunday in September, meet Turnkey Homes in Hebron from noon to 5. For more info, visit turnkeyhome.com. That's turnkeyhome.com. Or call 262-930-7969.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so over the weekend, we had more of these anthem protests spreading to college, even the WNBA. I mean, and the reason we're letting you know is because no one would otherwise know that a WNBA player protested.
Will you stop it? Mike Scott loves the WNBA.
Well, he would be the only one who knows then. The Liberty Guard? Liberty?
Mm-hmm.
What?
New York Liberties. Is
that
WNBA team?
Oh.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Go on.
Yeah. Somebody sat on the bench with their head bowed, somebody you've never heard of for a team you've never heard of. But in places that you have heard of, maybe even attended, Michigan State, you saw college football players for both teams, along with a group of students at North Carolina, raise their fists during the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner on Saturday before their respective games. It's funny because Michigan, I remember Jim Harbaugh is the coach there now. Real tough talker when it was students acting ignorantly, students trying to prevent last year American Sniper from being shown on campus. And Harbaugh tweeted, the Michigan football team, we're going to watch American Sniper because, and if you don't like that, then go pound sand. But when it's his players acting ignorantly, it's his players acting ignorantly and all holding up their fists during this Star-Spangled Banner, then Harbaugh is all, hey, I'm not going to tell them how to express themselves and so on and so forth. So, tough talking Jim Harbaugh over at Michigan ain't so tough when it's his interests on the line. And Our tough-talking former Bears coach, Mike Ditka.
Yeah, he's coach.
He was asked about Colin Kaepernick and all of those who are protesting the anthem on local.
He had a very succinct answer, I'd say.
Yeah, local sports talk show, and here's what the coach had to say about the protesters.
I think it's a problem. Anybody who disrespects this country and the flag, if they don't like the country, they don't like our flag, get the hell out. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me, I have no respect for Colin Kaepernick. He probably has no respect for me. That's his choice. My choice is that I like this country. I respect our flag. And I don't see all the atrocities going on in this country that people say are going on. I see opportunities that people want to look for opportunities. Now, if they don't want to look for them, then you can find problems with anything. But this is the land of opportunity because you can be anything you want to be if you work. Now, if you don't work, there's a different problem.
Yeah, it is a different problem, Coach.
So matter-of-factly. I just love it. And people, there was a marching band that took a knee, and there's cheerleaders at another university who took a knee.
Well,
and then the 5K run guy.
Maybe more and more American families will start waking up. They're tuning out the NFL. NFL ratings are down. I think it has a lot to do with all of this Colin Kaepernick nonsense. Maybe they'll stop sending their kids to particular colleges. Maybe they'll stop being boosters for the sports programs. And we've seen the impact at Missouri. University of Missouri, down attendance.
2 dorms are shut down this year.
So maybe that's a trend where their actions will generate a reaction, and then these kids, whether they're in the NFL or in college, will learn an adult lesson.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Attention, Second Amendment patriots. Just Target Guns of Libertyville in Lake County just returned from the largest gun show in America with new products. They're fully stocked for home defense and all shooting sports. Just Target Guns, located in Libertyville on Peterson Road, is the place to go for rifles, pistols, antique firearms, ammunition, and all levels of shotguns. Connie Shanahan and the knowledgeable staff at Just Target Guns will answer all your questions, no matter your level of experience, and help discover what you need for sports shooting, trap, skeet, target practice, or self-defense. Whether you're a novice shooter or a highly trained professional, Just Target Guns has got your brass covered. Get your FOID card, sign up for firearms training, and conceal and carry classes. Just Target Guns also has a skilled gunsmith on staff for repairs, and firearm appraisals are done in-house. Exercise your Second Amendment rights and set your sight on JustTargetGuns.com. That's JustTargetGuns.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or